Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes so sweet and sexy. Have fun, enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions and lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Sack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculousness that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes sweet and sassy. Not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hello. Hi. How's everybody today? Happy Sunday. It's Sunday Fun Day. It is Sunday Fun Day. Today is Sunday, April 27th of 2025, and my inbox was exploding yesterday and today, just exploding. So I thought you might want me to talk about all of this new craziness that came out, give you my take on it. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so I want to, try and spread some facts and truth and see if we could do that. I thought I would take yesterday off because it's going to be a crazy week this week. Tomorrow, full day of court with, I believe Ian Whiffen is going to be testifying in the morning, maybe some other people. I heard that Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel were supposed to testify Friday, but I guess they couldn't get to him. And if Ian Whiffen is coming in from Canada tomorrow, then ARCA is going to have their voir dire tomorrow afternoon. So the Crash Daddies are back, and that's going to be awesome, and I can't wait for it. And congratulations to Travis Hunter being like the second first-round pick overall. Yeah. Going to Jacksonville. And Shador Sanders finally got drafted. So that was great. Go Buffs. Go Buffs. I'm proud alum of the University of Colorado upholder, and go Buffs. Yes, Karen is on the Boston Globe's top 150 influential people. And a lot of things going on. A lot of you have already heard this motion by Bederow. So let's start with The Rock. Shall we? Friday night, I was on Court TV with Vinnie Politan in the 9:30 to 10 o'clock. It was the 9 o'clock hour. It's the Vinnie Politan Investigates show. And I was on from 9:30 to 10, and we went over all the text messages between Karen and John, and I had a lot of insight, I think, into those text messages. Did anybody see it? Because I can't find, they haven't posted anything anywhere. I can't even find it on the Court TV website. But that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm totally good with that. If you saw it live, it was a great show. And on the 8 o'clock hour, Vinnie talked about the jury view, because remember, the jury went on the field trip on Friday, and they went to 34 Fairview on a big bus. They took the big bus and they went over to the 34 Fairview, and Matt Johnson from Court TV was there. He's very nice. I've met him a couple of times. And there was this rock on the lawn that the media saw. It's a rock about, I don't know how big. It's hard to tell from the pictures. It says Albert painted on it. It looks like a kid painted on a rock that says Albert. And I mean, it looks like there's a blood stain on the rock, and it's right there, and all the media are walking around it. And I don't know if it was there when the jury was there. I don't know if somebody put it there as a joke after the jury left. I have no idea. But we need to catch up on this because tomorrow morning there could be some fireworks going on. I mean, I assume that if whatever attorneys were there were on The View, they would have seen it. Karen did not wind up going on The View. And it's crazy. So I don't know. Oh, thank you. You saw it? You saw the Court TV? Thank you, True Crime Justice. I don't even have Court TV on with my cable package. Fios doesn't carry it, so I have to watch it on courttv.com or on the app. So I only saw, and Nurse Kim was on the same show I was on from 9 to 9:30, right? Yeah, she was. So let's take a look because they did a good job covering this because Matt Johnson talked about The Rock and then they talked to a neighbor. And I don't think that Matt Johnson knew what he was going to say because this, my friends, if you haven't seen it, it's fire. If you have seen it, you can't watch it too many times. That's how good it is. Hold on. Let me just see if I can get this a little bit bigger. Unfortunately, I have to grab this from the Court TV website because, they don't really post anything. No spoilers if you've already seen it. If you haven't seen it, you're going to enjoy it with me now. This was on Friday night after the jury went on The View of 34 Fairview. Hi, Vinny. I like Vinny.
So let's bring in Court TV crime and justice correspondent Matt Johnson, who was outside the courthouse, but obviously today was on the road and was in the neighborhood and was at 34 Fairview. Matt, great to see you. Why don't you set the scene for us as to what was, I want to take some time here to really let the folks at home get an idea for what the jury did, what they saw, and what happened today. So set the scene for us.
And what we saw, we got up close and personal with what prosecutors are calling the murder weapon in all of this, Karen Reed's SUV, which was at 34 Fairview today. But I mean, this was a huge production today. It started off with the judge talking to the jury. We're going on a field trip. And then each side, the prosecutors and then the defense team, they got to say a little speech of what they wanted each of the jurors to look for and notice during the jury view. And then the bailiffs were sworn in. That was quite noteworthy. And they have these long poles that signify that the court's in session, even when they're on the road, almost like.
Okay, so you'll see there's Lally, there's Brennan, there's David Yannetti, Eliza Little, and I don't know who the man all the way in the back is. Hold on.
Like when children are on a field trip. So then they load up the bus in the back of the courthouse today, and it's a police escort that takes them to Fairview Road and 34 Fairview. It's
okay. Here's Judge Kearney. Nurse Kim refers to her as Polly Pocket because she says she's like maybe 4'10" on a good day. I refer to her as Lady McBev or Under Her Eye or Praise Keir. In street clothes. We never get to see her in street clothes. I was at the state's, the appellate lawyer for the Commonwealth, Caleb Schillinger, I believe is his name. Is that him? Okay. And then look right behind the judge under her eye is Margaret, the court clerk, who we really like. I don't know why Jim's not there, but I'll take Margaret over Jim any day. Sorry, Jim. Not sorry.
Probably a dozen police officers. There you see the judge in street clothes. Defense attorney Little and Yannetti were there. The prosecutor, Hank Brennan, was there. Again, they shut down the road. The media was kept far away, about 100 feet back. And then we got a close-up look. And my producer, Grace Wong, and I noticed that in front of the house, which a lot of people...
Okay, it's not Schillinger. It's Karen's appellate attorney. Okay. I mean, I know that's not Marty Weinstein, so I'm not sure who that is. Or Weinberg. So wait a second. All right. Now he's going to talk about the rock.
Is this rock that says Albert? And I've never seen it there. The prosecutor, Hank Brennan, was there. Again, they shut down the road. The media was kept far away, about 100 feet back. And then we got a close...
100 feet back, which is only half the distance of the buffer zone. If you know, you know.
Up look. And my producer, Grace Wong, and I noticed that in front of the house, which a lot of people are talking about online, is this rock that says Albert. And I've never seen it before. I've been to that house several times. I've been there doing stand-ups and also reporting on the case. I know you have too. And I have never seen a rock that says Albert right in front of the house. So,
and the Alberts don't live there anymore. Okay. Keep listening.
So that was noteworthy and a little bit strange. But another difference from last year's jury view to this year, last year they parked Karen Reed's SUV a little bit further down on the house, closer to the garage, the driveway. This year it was right next to where they're saying was the point of impact, or at least they did in the first trial, and it was right next to that flagpole. We got a close-up look after the jury left. Take a look at this. Moments ago, the jury just exited the bus and they did a jury view here at 34 Fairview. This is the former Albert home. This is the flagpole that we hear about in court. And this is Karen Reed's SUV. All right, so part of the jury view involves seeing the SUV, which is the alleged murder weapon in all of this. Jurors were instructed to pay close attention to the bumper, to the light, and to the top of the car. They also took note of the flagpole right over here on 34 Fairview and the front of the house in relationship to the upstairs windows.
Okay, so are they changing the point of impact now? Did they move the car to a different location? Because they're going to say there's a different point of impact. I don't have a link for my court TV appearance. I can't find it either. CPU mod 1, so I don't know. They didn't post it. So you had to have seen it live. If they post it in the future, I'll put it up.
So again, when the jury was there, I was about 100 feet away. I was trying to observe the best I could. I have 20/20. And I could see that the jurors really didn't leave the back of the SUV. Almost not at all. They were really focused on what's alleged as the murder weapon.
They're looking at it going, you're saying that car hit a body? There's no damage to that car except what's a completely missing taillight and what looks like some tool marks around the taillight that maybe somebody might have used a crowbar or a screwdriver to pry it out of there. But there's no dents to there's no damage to the car that would indicate it was that it hit a body.
Another thing of note, remember during all the pretrial hearings leading up to the trial, and we're in week 1, there was a lot of arguments and trying to figure out how to get the defendant Karen Reed there because obviously she wasn't going to be on the bus with everybody else. Well, at the end of the day, she chose for a second year in a row for the retrial not to be at the jury view. So, of course, when she left court today, we were all asking her that one question, why she didn't show up. Take a listen. Karen, what do you hope they noticed about the jury view?
Why not go on the view?
I don't ever want to go back to 34 Fairview.
What do you think about the text messages that they read out loud? Do you really care about
I have.
So again, a big change from a couple days ago when she was going to attend. Yesterday, she told me that she wasn't planning on it. And today, she made that decision. She held back along with Alan Jackson here at the courthouse before testimony resumed. But of course, we know that it was a half day. But that was a big decision on the defense part today.
I'm looking at that rock. When I was there,
There it
I
is,
don't
right here.
remember
See
that
it?
rock either. Matt, it's bizarre because it's in an area where if I'm a juror and I'm looking at that rock, I'm thinking, oh.
Yeah, Nurse Kim and I were on court TV twice last week. So Glare played us on, I think it was Tuesday night or Monday night. We were on Monday night and then we were also on Friday night. So I'm talking about the Friday night show. But hey, look at us doing 2 a week. Kimmy and me.
Well, if he gets hit by the car, his head could hit that rock.
Yeah, or maybe they're thinking his head did hit that rock because they're going to say the ground was hard as a rock. Or maybe they're going to say, oh, his head hit a rock. Who knows what the hell they're going to say because they keep changing their theory.
Yeah, you know, and it's not even where his body was, I believe. It was closer to the flagpole. And, you know, at first, when you see the paint on the rock, it says Albert. But you would think that if someone...
I mean, look, there it is. You can see it right here. It's in the middle of the picture on your screen. It's a pretty big damn rock. I'm sure. Do you think they'll look for Ring camera footage to find out who put the rock there? You know, being that Tom Kelleher, I think, still lives right across the street, who's, you know, part of Canton PD. The guy who gave the solo cups and never came out of his house.
Placed a rock there that it would be a tribute to Officer O'Keefe who lost his life, right? So there's really no explanation. I'm sure the jurors have questions tonight as well.
You know, the other thing...
There it is. The new homeowners do have Ring cameras because when the person whose name we don't mention on this channel, but her initials are JC, and she alleges that she used to work for the FBI. When she snuck up onto their front stoop with her Pink Panther type, you know, dun 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 and there was like 2 cars in the driveway, and she like crept up to their stoop, and then she turned around, took a couple of pictures, and like ran away so she could post them on her Twitter. The Pink Panther, yeah. She there was ring camera footage of that because the new owners gave the ring camera footage to someone, and then they posted it all over, and it's everywhere. You can find it. Her name is JC. She's the talking head on a lot of news channels. She is the reason that Garrett Wing will be testifying for the defense, because when I did Court TV with her in January of 2024, and I said that it looked to me, based on my 30 years experience as an injury lawyer handling thousands of car accidents and dog bite cases, that this man did not get hit by a car. And also, that looks like an animal attack to his arm. She said, "Oh, everyone comes in here who doesn't have a medical degree, and they think they can just say they think that they know what those injuries are, and that's that it came from a car." So I said, I thought I was being gaslit. I'm like, I gotta find a dog bite expert to come on my channel and tell me what he thinks. So I found Garrett Wing. I emailed him a picture. I said, "Tell me what you think. I'm not telling you anything about this case." He came on my channel. We did a great show, and now he's going to testify for the defense. For those of you who haven't seen it, I could link it down below. But look at the size of this rock, and it says Albert, and it looks like a kid like painted it with paint. And how did it get there? Was it there when the jury was there? Is that jury tampering? Was it there when the attorneys were there? You can bet that if the attorneys were there, they would have seen it. Is tomorrow going to be a big mess when they come into court and start screaming mistrial? Like, this is insane. It's insane. And if the media was only 100 feet away, as Matt says, they would have seen somebody try and plant it or try and put it there after the jury left. So I don't know what's going on, but when you think that this case can't get any crazier, you know, Judge Bev says to Fran Gull in Indiana, "Hey, Franny, hold my White Claw. Check this out. What we got going on over here in Norfolk County."
When you go there, and then we're taking a closer look at that rock, it's strange. I don't understand why that's there. And that's always the one criticism of the jury view, is if things have changed drastically. Now, obviously, the weather today much different than it was that day, but I think the jury can understand that. But things like a rock on the front yard where they're claiming he died, to me, that's a big deal. I'd have to take a look at some of the video we shot previously there to see if that thing existed, whether it existed last year or any other time we've been there. But I don't recall seeing it, and you don't recall seeing it either.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. And I know that it's something that we would have talked about. We would have noticed. We were walking on the street, not on that property.
Look at Matt. Even he thinks it's us. He's like, yeah, that's like nuts.
When we were here last year, I don't remember seeing it. And then today we were allowed to walk on the property. That was another big difference with all of this. And we were standing right where the jurors were. So at least one of the 18 had to have seen it.
Okay, now while you're there, Matt Johnson being Matt Johnson, you're going to talk to as many people as possible, and you actually had an opportunity to speak to one of the neighbors?
I couldn't believe this. If you haven't seen it, please, no spoilers. I was watching this live because I was waiting to go on at 9 o'clock, and I wanted to see what they talked about before I went on, so I wouldn't repeat anything that they had already talked about. Listen to this.
Yeah, because this was a huge production, right? They stopped traffic. There was probably about a dozen troopers that were protecting the jury and blocking off the roadway in either direction. None of the neighbors could drive down the street, get to their driveway, get to their house. So they come out of their cars. Other people are walking their dogs, and they stop where we are, which is where all the media is. And then I start talking to this gentleman. He's by the name of Jim, and he starts telling me that he's lived there for 40 years. And he remembered that night of the snowstorm. And I started asking him questions about the neighborhood and his thoughts on the case. Take a listen.
It's bad news. She's definitely innocent. There's no question about it. When you look,
Jim Malver, the neighbor, she's definitely innocent. Did you hear that? Listen. Now listen to what else he says. Listen. Jim is telling them everything. Clerk, too cute by half. Well done.
Look at his arm. A car couldn't do that to an arm. No way. All you got to do is look at his right arm. There's no way a vehicle would do that to an arm. Explain to me how it could happen. There's just no way. Even the plow driver said he came by at 2:30 and saw nothing. People leaving the party saw nothing. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they saw nothing. How can you not see a body lying near the flagpole?
Is there any animals in the area? Any big animals? Have you ever
Listen
had any problems with pets being lost?
Friends of ours were bitten by Chloe.
By Chloe.
And in fact, they're on the witness list. I don't know if they're going to be called, but they are on the witness list. We know about them. And, I mean, the guy sells his house. He puts in a whole new basement floor. Suddenly, his cell phone is gone. Suddenly, Higgins' cell phone is gone. Come on.
Come on.
That's all innocent? No way.
Wow. Jim.
Jim Malver.
Jim, call me. Jim, you want to come on the show? Chloe. My friends got bit by Chloe. They're on the witness list. He's not afraid of the Alberts.
Living on Fairview Road for more than 40 years. Super nice guy. Only one lens in his glasses because he just had surgery, in case you're wondering. But I mean, he was the one that brought up Chloe. I didn't.
Right.
I was trying to find out, hey, there's that other theory of maybe some other animal scratched John O'Keefe's arm when he lay lying on 34
right,
Fairview.
Like coyotes.
He brought up Chloe. I didn't.
Yeah. You're wondering, is it one of those neighborhoods where you might have coyotes or whatever? That's fascinating. And by the way, I don't know if I can remember a trial where you just meet random people in the street and they know the facts of the case backwards and forwards. It's unreal. Okay.
That's it. That's all I'm going to show you from there. But, crazy. Jimmy 2 times. Jimmy 2 times. Yeah, 2 of my friends were bit by Chloe. They're on the witness list. Yeah, 40 years I've been living here. 40 years. Jim. We love you, Jim. Thank you for speaking the truth, because so many people are afraid to speak out about the Alberts. Do you think he's glad that they moved? He's lived on Fairview for 40 years. Do you think that Jim's glad that they moved? I don't know. Just wondering. All aboard. Alcohol aboard. Yeah, I was waiting so patiently to hear your thoughts on this matter. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you for coming. Smitty says, random fun fact, Canton High School is the only high school in the U.S. with a bar on campus. What? How could they have a bar? The drinking age is 21. You mean from days gone by? Carmel, thank you for your super sticker. Please try not to curse in the chat, you guys. It's not good for the algorithm. Thank you. Muddles, thank you. I love you. Oh, I want to see you soon. I'm gonna die. From Western Australia. Thank you so very much. Looking forward. Thank you. The jury tea, the Goodmans are here. They've gifted a membership, and Ipsy Dixit became a member. Welcome. I'm Maura Valesi. It's the rock that Yuri and former trooper used to smash the down. The paint tells you who instructed them, in my opinion. Very funny. Good time to point out that my viewers' opinions are not always my opinions. Strong Legs said it on Aussie stream. Sectional healing. ML is top shelf. Thank you. Thank you. So there's that. Thank you for your super sticker. Bringing in 2 potted plants. Any chance Judge backs off the defense allows ARCA due to the new affidavit? I don't think that this affidavit is going to have anything to do with ARCA at all. It has nothing to do with ARCA. Let's talk about that now, because you've given us a good segue, bringing in 2 potted plants, and that is a Bederow quote. And this motion and affidavit is courtesy of my friend Mark Bederow and Tim Bradl, who are Aidan, Kearney, aka Turtleboy's attorneys. Oh, you're at the beach, Laura? Thank you. Peace, peace, peace. Good for you. Fire on Acid is here. Hanky, why don't you play this clip for the jury? Yeah, let's play this clip for the jury. Well done. Fire on Acid. Well done. Well, you know what? It might be more prejudicial than probative, right? Prejudicial to the Alberts and the McCabes. Yeah. But, we can play a clip of Karen Reed mocking Peggy O'Keefe, which is clearly more prejudicial than probative of anything. And, we'll just allow it. We'll allow it. Right? We'll allow it. Howling Dog Design became a member. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I'm going to leave this up to you. This is your show, guys. This is your show. So many of you may have also already seen 1,700 other creators read this motion of Bederow's. It's the defendant's third motion to compel required discovery in the Aidan Kearney case. That is the motion to which this bombshell of an affidavit was attached. I can read it again, or we can go over it. We can put it up on the screen and just generally talk about it. It's going to be up to you. Did you guys already? You want to read it? You want to read it? What do you want to do? Okay. All right. So some of you are, I love what I love about my chat and the over 7,222, 222, room 222. Do you remember that TV show? Gen Xers Unite. Many of you are new to this case, and I love that so much because I can sort of, and if I'm, talking too fast or I'm trying to talk about things that I think you already know about, many of you don't know about it. And so if you have any questions, we have the friendliest, snarkiest chat on the tubes of you. And they will, if you have any questions, help you with your questions. However, please do not put any rumor, speculation, gossip, or defamatory statements in the chat because, I'm an attorney. I got to go with the documents, the facts. And that's what we do here. There's other channels for drama. And so the drama is not really what I'm here to give you. I'm here to give you facts, court documents, and legal opinions. Okay? All right. So for those of you who don't know, Aidan Kearney is facing a number of felony charges for alleged witness intimidation against something like 16, I don't know, he's got 16 or 17 indictments against him for alleged witness intimidation with regard to witnesses in the Karen Read case. So he's got a parallel proceeding that is also in Norfolk Superior Court. Some of the witnesses that he is accused of intimidating, I'll read them to you. I have the affidavit, like the probable cause affidavit is like 70 pages long. But our good friend Suze was kind enough to put it in email form for me. So, and she's got all of the details. So let me just pull that up. So I can tell you exactly who's got charges against him. Michael Proctor, Elizabeth Proctor, his wife, Matt and Jen McCabe, Chris Albert, Julie Albert, and Colin Albert, Julie Nagel, and Yuri Buchanik. They are all the alleged victims of witness intimidation by Aidan Kearney, aka Turtleboy. They have filed a motion to dismiss in his case. It has been pending for over 6 weeks. Mr. Kearney, aka Turtleboy, caught some additional witness intimidation charges from an incident arising out of I think it was March 4th. Was it March 4th when he intimidated the window? On March 4th, Aidan Kearney was with some other people that you may know from the YouTube. And they were at C.F. McCarthy's having dinner. And after they came out, Aidan Kearney went over to the window of D&E Pizza. It's all on video. And he said some things to the camera to Chris Albert. Chris Albert is the owner of D&E Pizza, and Colin Albert, his son, also known as Colin Albert, but I think it's Cosgrove who refers to him as Colin. He's the special prosecutor in the Aidan Kearney matter. He said some things to the camera. And the next morning, Chris Albert, who's also a town select board member for the town of Canton and also one of these witnesses in the case, he's going to testify. You're going to see it. If you haven't seen it, it's going to be great. Colin apparently was closing up the pizzeria and found out somehow that Aidan was at the bar next door, which is C.F. McCarthy's, which is the bar that they have been talking about so far in the Karen Read case. For those of you who know, you know. He intimidated the window. He caught some additional charges. This timeline of events is going to become very important when we start talking about what is going on here in this motion. Now, Mark Bederow, fellow New York attorney, wrote several letters to the special prosecutor in the Aidan Kearney matter, asking for certain items of discovery. And so many people who apparently got their law degrees on Twitter were saying, why is he sending letters? Why doesn't he make a motion? Why is he sending letters? What does he think the letters are going to do? What does he think the letters are going to do? Well, for those of you who know, I have an entire playlist on the Commonwealth versus Aidan Kearney. You can go back and watch the shows where we went over each of Mark Bederow's letters, and they were beautifully written with incredible detail and facts and receipts and information about possible collusion between Brian Tully, Brian Tully, Ken Mello, who was the special prosecutor at the time. He has since gone MIA. They say he's sick. Cosgrove took over from Mello. Brian Tully, who's also involved, in the murder investigation for John O'Keefe. Also the, is he Proctor's supervisor or is that Fanning? I'm conflating now. Brian Tully of the Massachusetts State Police, Ken Mello, Catherine Peter, Kate Peter, who is also known as Masshole Mafia or Mafia Masshole on all of the social medias and the YouTubes and the Twitters. And Lindsay Gattani, whom Aidan Kearney was also charged with intimidating and or assaulting, and or those charges are still kind of out there. Text messages between the four of them in what looks like a setup to get Aidan Kearney arrested, to get his bail revoked, to have him put in jail, and it worked. It worked because he did 60 days in the pokey of Norfolk County Jail. He was there for 60 days. They wanted to keep him for 90, but then they found out, 90's not permitted under the law. We can only keep him for 60. They are doing whatever they can to shut him up. He's a journalist. And you're going to see as we go through this affidavit and this new motion, they may be trying to do it again. And if I know one thing about Mark Bederow, I know that he does nothing without receipts. The reason he wrote all of those Bederow letters is exactly for this reason, because this is what grown-up attorneys do, okay? They put their big boy pants on and their big girl pants on, and they try to work things out with the other side. There's no reason to waste the court's time with emotion if you can write a letter and just gently keep reminding the other side to give you the things that you're entitled to. Why waste the judge's time on things that you're automatically entitled to under the law of disclosure and discovery and automatic discovery? So the Bederow letters are now the good faith basis for this motion, because he tried 3 times to get the discovery from them that they're entitled to. And I added a new song to the playlist today. For those of you who don't know, we have a Karen Reed Spotify playlist. It's the Karen Reed trial. We started it during the first trial, I think, in song lyrics, so it's appropriate. The one I added today was No Reply at All by Genesis. I'm a huge Genesis fan, and that's it. Bederow wrote 3 letters in excruciating detail over a 6-month period, and you know what he got? No reply at all. And hence this motion, which is docketed in the court file, but I don't have a stamped copy, so who knows if it didn't get scanned on Friday for a reason. But Turtleboy, Aidan Kearney, I call him Aidan because that's his God-given name, published this yesterday, and so we have it, and so we're going to do it. Here it is. This is defendant's 3rd motion to compel required discovery. Now comes Mr. Aidan Kearney and respectfully moves that this honorable court, pursuant to Massachusetts Rule 14, compel the production of the discovery detail below, which has been requested from the prosecution multiple times since October 8th of 2024, and which disclosure is required by prior orders of this court and imposed by Rule 14, the 5th and 14th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution, Article 12 of the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights, Brady v. Maryland, Giglio v. United States, and Kiles v. Whitley. Specifically, the defense has made 3 letter demands for ordered and or required discovery concerning civilian Catherine Peter, aka Kate Peter, aka Mafia Masshole, who, on information and belief, is working as an agent for the Commonwealth in their prosecutions against Mr. Kearney and Karen Reed. I also call her the not-so-confidential informant because she likes to blast it all over and sort of brag about her close ties, shall we say, to the Commonwealth. Footnote number 1 says, see letters of Mark Bederow to Special Assistant District Attorneys Robert Cosgrove, dated October 8, 2024, October 17th, 2024, and March 29th of 2025. Ms. Peters' relationship with the Commonwealth and the prosecution required obligations under Rule 14. Brady and Giglio constituted the entire substance of the October 8, 2024 and March 29, 2025 letter demands. All of these letters have been previously filed with the court. So the court's got him in the file. He doesn't need to attach them to his motion. And like I said, we've been over them in great detail in no, the stone has not been added, but I will say thank you, Nancy, because that is one of my favorite Dave Matthews songs. As you can see, I have at least 2 Dave Matthews posters behind me. Somebody, like one of my comments yesterday, I was like, your background is really distracting. I was like, do you know that I won the award for best YouTube background of all Karen recreators, that fake awards show that Auntie Deb did? So, meh, blah. The Stone is a great Dave Matthews song, and until today, we had no reason to add it, but now we do. Now we do, Nancy. Motion granted. Although our first demand was made more than 6 months ago, the prosecution has neither provided the defense. Oops, let me make this bigger for you. Neither provided the defense with any of the requested discovery, nor indicated that none of the requested items or information are within the possession, custody, or control of the prosecutor, the prosecuting office, or any member of the prosecution team. Indeed, the prosecution hasn't responded at all, no reply at all, to any of the demands made in the October 8th and 17th, 2024, and March 29th, 2025 letter demands, all of which describe in great detail the good faith basis for our belief that the prosecution is in possession of evidence that requires disclosure. Go figure. In addition to the outstanding discovery demands referenced above, Mr. Kearney's defense has since received further confirmation that such evidence exists. Okay, so this is important. The affidavit that we're going to go over that is attached here too, that has a lot of hearsay in it, it's all hearsay. It is all things that Kate Peter told this witness, okay? It is not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. It is offered as another reason that the court should order the Commonwealth to turn over the discovery. Do you understand the difference? You guys get what I'm saying here? No reply. Good one by the Beatles. I highlighted that by accident, but it's appropriate. It's apropos. Well done. Okay. Do you have to talk about other people going live and stuff? First of all, it draws people away from the stream. I don't know what time the Celtics are playing. I don't know what time the Celtics are over. But one of the basic rules of YouTube is do not redirect people who are watching me right now to other places. It's just not cool. Got it? Okay. All right. So the affidavit attached here too, I'm saying this, I'm breaking from the document to tell you, is not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. It is offered as another reason why they have to turn over the discovery. Picking up what I'm laying down? Okay, here we go. Significantly, this evidence is described in the sworn affidavit of an acquaintance of Ms. Peter, a copy of which is attached here too as Exhibit A. As detailed by the sworn statement of the witness, Ms. Peter has admitted to the witness that she has a long-standing relationship in which she has assisted the Commonwealth in their efforts to prosecute Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed. Ms. Peters' relationship with the Commonwealth and its key witnesses against Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed includes evidence that, among other things, before we go into the things that she did, I'll tell you, for those of you who don't know who Kate Peter is. Kate Peter worked for Turtleboy. She used to work for Turtleboy in something like 2020. He fired her because he says she was stealing money from him. Ever since then, he says, Kate Peter has had a personal vendetta against him and is making it her personal life's mission to take him down. That is the backstory. Now, here, this affidavit says, let me start that sentence again. Ms. Peters' relationship with the Commonwealth and its key witnesses against Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed includes evidence that, among other things, she regularly speaks to and meets the Reed prosecutors. Footnote 2. And when he says read, when they say read prosecutors, they're talking about Brennan and they're talking about Lally. Footnote 2. Ms. Peters' relationship with Special Prosecutor Ken Mello and the Massachusetts State Police are detailed in the October 8th, 2024 demand at pages 3 to 12 and October 17th, 2024 demand at 6 and 7, respectively. I'll break for a second to tell you that all of these text messages were uncovered by the feds, which makes me think that the twisted, corrupted roots of Norfolk County go pretty deep and pretty far beyond the Kearney case. Among other things, she also receives monthly payments from the Commonwealth in exchange for her assistance against Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed. She received items of value from key witness Jennifer McCabe. She was granted de facto immunity from prosecution in exchange for her assistance with the Commonwealth. Immunity. She altered, destroyed, and/or disposed of material evidence, including the contents of her cell phone that would be favorable to Mr. Kearney. She admitted her intent to, quote, start rumors, end quote, about Mr. Kearney's purported harassment of jurors to further the Commonwealth's unsuccessful effort to ban Mr. Kearney from covering the Reed case. We saw that happen. Didn't we see that happen? They didn't want him in the courtroom. Next point, she uses her social media platforms to help the Commonwealth circumvent a gag order in the Reed case. She stalked, harassed, and spied on Mr. Kearney, Ms. Reed, one of Ms. Reed's attorneys, and supporters of Ms. Reed. And she admitted that Lindsay Gattani lied about a material fact relevant to her criminal allegations against Mr. Kearney. Significantly, according to the witness's sworn statement, Ms. Peter admitted to her that Jennifer McCabe issued an ultimatum directly to District Attorney Morrissey in exchange for her favorable testimony against Ms. Reed. She would not testify until Turtleboy is in jail. Well, we're going to go through the timeline and we're going to see that what we've been watching may just be what resulted as a result of this ultimatum. Ms. Peter further told the witness when Ms. McCabe was told that the Commonwealth can simply subpoena her, she implied that if her demands were not met, we would alter her testimony in a manner designed to harm the Commonwealth's case against Ms. Reed. Footnote 3. On information and belief, Ms. McCabe's use of the word we means that in addition to herself, other key prosecution witnesses to whom she's close with also would not testify favorably for the prosecution unless Mr. Kearney was in jail. Wow. Put a pin in that because somebody sent me an email saying, why would she threaten to change her testimony to not favor the Commonwealth? I can think of a couple of reasons why. So we'll go over those reasons in a bit. Ms. Peter further admitted to the witness that on March 16th, 2025, she met with Ms. McCabe and DA Morrissey in Braintree. And when the witness saw Ms. Peter shortly after that meeting, Ms. Peter had a manila envelope with her. March 16th, 2025. Footnote 4 says the prosecution still hasn't complied fully with its obligation to provide any discoverable electronic communications from representatives of the DA's office, including DA Morrissey, and witnesses against Mr. Kearney. Well, they haven't turned it over. They were supposed to turn it over. They were supposed to turn over Morrissey's emails to Brennan. Also, right? Brennan was supposed to have a taint team go through it. But do you remember pre-trial when Brennan said in open court, I have even took on the role of taint team because I didn't want anybody else looking at these emails. So I took on that burden myself. Oh, really? I have questions about that too. Since when does Brennan dub himself the taint team? Like he was taking on extra work. Remember, he dislocated both shoulders, patting himself on the back about that. It's important to note here that manila envelope. I mean, when I first thought of this, I'm like, oh, like an envelope full of cash. But a manila envelope is like a, it's like it's like a legal size manila envelope. It could have had papers in it. I don't know. Could have had papers. I don't know. Immediately I went to, envelope of cash, but we don't know. We can't speculate. The witness just said she had a manila envelope with her. None of the foregoing items or information has been provided to the defense team by the Commonwealth, despite several prior requests, in addition to the pre-existing Rule 14 obligations. Rule 14 is automatic discovery in Massachusetts. There are certain things that you just automatically have to turn over. Based upon the information provided by the witness's sworn statement and the contents of our 3 previous letter demands, there is strong reason to believe that there exists discoverable information and material in the Commonwealth's possession, custody, and control, whether the Kearney or Reed prosecution team related to Ms. Peters' involvement with the Commonwealth and or witnesses who will testify against Mr. Kearney. The prosecutor also has a duty to inform each member of the prosecution team whom he has reason to believe may be in possession, custody, or control of discoverable items or information, and then to inquire of each person as to the existence of such items or information. See Rule 14 2A. Thus, at a minimum, the prosecutor must address the issues raised in the affidavit and letter demands with D.A. Morrissey, Hank Brennan, Adam Lally, Laura McLaughlin, Kate Peter, Jennifer McCabe, Ken Mello, Brian Tully, and John Fanning. They have an affirmative obligation to do that. Shouldn't need a court order, but he's pointing it out in the motion anyway. They, I'm not sure who exactly wrote this, whether it was Bradl, whether it was Bederow, whether it was both of them, they both signed it. Any discoverable evidence then must be immediately collected and promptly disclosed to his defense. This, of course, includes prompt disclosure of any evidence that the Reed prosecution team has in their possession, custody, or control, which adversely impacts the credibility of any witnesses against Mr. Kearney, otherwise favors him, or casts doubt on the case against him. The Commonwealth's disclosure obligation to Mr. Kearney remains irrespective of any purported view of the evidence's reliability, credibility, or admissibility, and without regard to whether the information has been documented in any manner. See what he's saying there? Doesn't matter if you wrote it down, if it was oral. We need to know about it too. Conversations, because some of these people have shown through their group text messages that they don't like to put things in writing. Don't text about it. We'll find out more tomorrow. And then tomorrow, what happens tomorrow? Tomorrow they go to Lank's house and sit in the driveway in the freezing cold. Mrs. Lank comes out and sits in the car with them, allegedly. And then Jen McCabe ran in to go to the bathroom, according to Carrie Roberts, if we can believe anything Carrie Roberts says, because she's now proven liar. Which is so ironic, don't you think? A little too ironic, considering that she was on Good Morning America the morning before the first day that she testified, talking about how witnesses were being harassed for simply telling the truth. And then the day after, because it was her second day of testimony, which she admitted lying to the state grand jury. Isn't it ironic? Yeah, I really do think a little too ironic. How embarrassing. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier. The Commonwealth's, oh wait, okay, I just read that sentence. In other words, where the subject matter is discoverable, the prosecution must promptly disclose any information derived from conversations or interviews between or among Ms. Peter, the relevant witnesses, against Mr. Kearney and any members of the Kearney and Reed prosecution teams, even if it was not memorialized in any way. Isn't it also ironic, don't you think, that the special prosecutor in the Alec Baldwin Rust trial in New Mexico was also named Morrissey. Her name was Carrie Morrissey, but she took it upon herself to determine what was discoverable. Exactly what they said right here. Irrespective of any purported view of the evidence's reliability, credibility, or admissibility. I mean, that's exactly what Carrie Morrissey did in the Alec Baldwin trial. She took in some evidence that she didn't think was relevant or discoverable, and she didn't turn it over. She even put it in a case file with a different case number on it. And when it was found out during that trial, that judge in New Mexico was having none of it and immediately dismissed the charges. Well, not immediately, because Carrie Morrissey put herself on the stand and made a complete fool out of herself. And Judge Mary Marlowe Summer, she was great, man. She was great. She just tossed that case right out. She's like, Mr. Baldwin, you can go home. And Ilaria was very, very, very happy, because Ilaria, during the whole trial, was like, stop talking, Alex, stop talking. How different this trial would be, or this entire case would be, with a different judge, wouldn't it? Wherefore, Mr. Kearney respectfully requests that the court order production of the requested and any other outstanding discovery within 14 days of the date of this motion. 2, promptly schedule a hearing thereafter on the issue of sanctions under Rule 14J for the unexcused failure to provide discovery and for the misconduct of a government agent. They're calling her, she's a confidential informant, basically, is what they're calling her. And when they say government agent, I mean, that's what she is. She's admitted as much. And it is okay for confidential informants to be paid. I don't want there to be any misinformation about that. It's got to be disclosed, though, I mean, anybody who's ever watched Law and Order has seen they pay those confidential informants all the time. Buy them a meal, they throw them some money. 3, issue an order to show cause upon the Commonwealth at an evidentiary hearing as to why the case should not be dismissed with prejudice or be the subject of such other relief as authorized by Rule 14.2J. And any other such relief as this court deems just, meet, and proper. I like how he throws just in there, because that's a New York thing. In New York, we say just and proper. And here in Massachusetts, they say meet and proper. So he added it in. So it's just, meet, and proper. All 3 things. All good things in all good time. XOXO. Aidan Kearney. Dated April 24th by his attorneys, Tim Bradl, Mac Bederow. It's fire. But wait, because there's more. There's more. And the more is the affidavit that's attached there too, from this whistleblower. Let's call her a whistleblower. Of course, they're doing everything they can on the cesspool of Twitter today to discredit this woman, because they found out who she is. Of course, Kate Peter did. And now Kate Peter is all over Twitter doxing this woman and things such as like that, which, isn't that witness intimidation? I don't know. But it seems that in Norfolk County, they have very selective prosecution of their laws there. Only certain people are prosecuted for witness intimidation. Only the people who think that John O'Keefe did not get hit by a car. Only those people will be prosecuted for witness intimidation. Anybody else who thinks that Karen Reed should be stoned to death before she's hung in town square, they can do whatever they want. Okay, here we go. Here's the affidavit of the, I call whistleblower. They've redacted her name, but sadly, certain individuals have chosen to dox her. We'll see if that's in any way, shape, or form prosecuted, persecuted, or even chastised or wrist slapped. And here's the affidavit of this woman. Her name is redacted. Now comes the undersigned on oath and hereby states the following to the best of her knowledge, recollection, information, and belief under penalties of perjury this 21st day of April, 2025. Okay, this was signed the day before the Karen Reed trial started. Keep that in mind too. This was filed, or signed rather, by this witness before the trial started, before Kerry Roberts testified. Oh, these are Dave Matthews fire dancer earrings? Oh, no, they aren't. Sorry. No, sorry. These are Grateful Dead skull earrings. Here, I'll show you. There's, when I go to the Cancun stuff, I went to Cancun with attorney Melanie Little. There's this guy, his name's Javier. Javier, he makes jewelry. He's in Cancun. And he comes every year to the Dead shows and the Dave Matthews shows, and he makes this beautiful jewelry and he sells it. And it's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for asking. Oh, by the way, the merch shop is 20% off today and tomorrow only. So if you want merch, now's the time. Now's the time. The link is in the show notes below this video. And you too can have a shirt that says, I went to Cancun with attorney Melanie Little, circa 2024. Okay. My name is blank. I reside in Massachusetts. I am of age and competent to make this affidavit. I have been friendly with Catherine Peter, hereinafter Peter, for close to a year. I'm going to call her hereinafter Kate because Peter is too confusing to me. I think it's somebody else and it's not. It's Kate or KP. I'm going to call her KP. If you try and type her nickname into the chat, it's not going to work because there are certain words that are blocked. And so that's one of them. So she's been friendly with Kate for close to a year. I've had multiple conversations and face-to-face interactions with Kate. Kate volunteered information to me about the Karen Reed case countless times throughout our friendship. All factual representations below are from what Kate told me about her involvement in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney cases. Okay, so this witness, again, this is like hearsay. But it is only being used as another reason for the judge to please order the discovery that we're entitled to, because now we have more proof that this stuff exists. 6, during Karen Reed's first trial, she was in regular communication with ADA Adam Lally. At one point, prior to jury deliberations, Kate Peter met with Adam Lally for lunch. During this lunch meeting, Adam Lally told Kate Peter that he knows the foreperson who is a retired police officer, and he, the juror, is guaranteeing a mistrial. This is what was verbally reported to me by Peter. Okay, it's important to point out this is what Kate Peter allegedly told this witness. Kate Peter may be a known liar. It doesn't mean that she really had lunch with Adam Lally. Okay, it is what Kate Peter told this woman. Allegedly. Doesn't mean it really happened. You see what I'm saying? She could have lied to this woman. We don't know. So let's not go out there starting like sharing these rumors as truth. These are allegations. Will they ever call Kate Peter in to come in and have to testify at a hearing under oath? I don't know, because apparently she's been granted immunity, according to what she told this woman, her neighbor, this witness. Number 7, Kate told me she has paid $1,500 each month via Cash App for her assistance in the Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney prosecutions. Right. Team Wicked Smart points out the truth. Points out if 1% of this is true, it's a big problem. I agree. 8, Kate Peter believes that Karen Reed is innocent, but she has to, quote, play the game. I interpreted this to mean Kate Peter's role is to publicly promote and advocate on social media that Ms. Reed is guilty. Kate Peter opined to me that, quote, if anyone killed John, it was blank, an a-hole. I don't know who's redacted there. And I don't know that Kate Peter really believes that Karen Reed is innocent, but maybe that's what Kate Peter told this woman. 9, Kate Peter is very close with Hank Brennan and has had multiple conversations and meetings with him. I have previously heard Kate Peter on the phone with Hank Brennan. Well, I mean, that's easily provable, right? And you can also bet that Bradl and Bederow are not filing this without some receipts. They wouldn't. Who knows what the feds still have? Who knows if the investigation is still ongoing, because the next paragraph says 10. During a phone conversation between Kate Peter and Hank Brennan that I was present for and personally recognized Hank Brennan's voice, Kate Peter told him that her people leaked it to the media, referring to the federal investigation being over. Well, you know who her people are? You know who she's befriended in all of this? JC, the retired FBI person on Twitter and every news channel that have her. She's befriended Julie Grant at Court TV, perhaps, who had her on her show and gave her a platform. She has befriended the McCabes and the Alberts and all of these people and their friends who all have maybe 10 fake Twitter accounts or sock puppet accounts. And you know who they are because they post all the same talking points every single day. "11. As of April 15th, 2025, Peter is not talking directly to Hank anymore. We're using a third party to communicate now." OnlyFans says, "I would love to see how Court TV covers this one." Do you think anybody's going to cover this one? Has anybody covered it mainstream media-wise? Kate Peters states that she is untouchable because of everything she's doing to assist the prosecution, and that no matter what violations I'm charged with, Morrissey is keeping me out of jail. And that's in quotes. 13. Kate Peter asked me to go stalk Karen Reed in the Seaport with her and stated that Karen Reed stays at the Omni Hotel. She stated to me that we can take photos to sell to the Daily Mail and that she has done that before. Well, you can never tell. What's it shaking on Shakedown Street? This is like Shakedown Street. This is like Shakedown Street because text messages surfaced between Kate Peter and someone else, and they did go to the Omni Hotel, and they did call the Omni Hotel to find out that they were staying there, and they did leak a photo, I think it was to TMZ, I don't know if it was the Daily Mail, of Karen and Alan what is supposed to be Alan Jackson, which is not Alan Jackson because his wife was there that night, that they doctored and proctored and used AI to make it look like they were cozy. 14. Kate Peter informed me that Jennifer McCabe bought her a brand new sectional as compensation for her assistance. Well, I mean, what somebody wouldn't do for a couch. Was it leather at least? Was it leather? Don't tell me it was like velour or pleather or cloth. I mean, was it at least leather? Did it at least have like recliners on each end and like those little tables that come down that you could put your drinks in? I mean, Kate Peter, trying to get ahead of this or behind it or on top of it or underneath it, posted some receipt from Wayfair on Twitter trying to say, I bought my own sectional and look, I financed it. I mean, I don't know. $800 has got to be pleather, right? Yeah, totally pleather. 809. No, it was 800 plus. She bought something else too. And she financed it and it was paid off. And let me just point out to you, by the way, that if you finance something, and she may very well have financed it through Wayfair, I have no idea. But if you finance something, it will show as paid on the invoice because the finance company pays Wayfair. See how that works? And then she would have to pay the finance company her monthly payments of $10 or whatever for the rest of her life. So it would show as paid. So I'm not buying into that whole thing. Okay. Yeah, paid off the next day. Right. Paid off the next day when the loan comes through. They pay Wayfair. You pay the finance company. Anybody who's ever financed anything or leased a car knows that that's how it works. You go into BMW, you lease a car from BMW. Well, they have their own in-house leasing, so that's not really a good example. But if you go into like Jeep and you lease a Jeep, the leasing company pays the Jeep dealer and then you pay the leasing company. See how that works? So don't worry about that. That doesn't mean anything. That's what she told this person, that Jennifer McCabe bought her a sectional. And maybe I don't know if she did or not. It's not really relevant here to me. What's relevant here to me is what's coming up next. Kate Peter was told by Jennifer McCabe that Jennifer McCabe informed Michael Morrissey that she is not testifying unless Turtleboy is in jail. That is what is interesting to me. The power of the McCabes. Go back with me, if you will, to the day of opening statements, which was only a week ago. Hard to believe, right? This trial started on Tuesday because Monday was Patriots Day. Alan Jackson's opening. The Alberts are a powerful and influential family. He brought up corruption. He brought up Proctor being the architect of this whole thing. He said, this is not about the truth. This is about preserving loyalty. And he went on to say that Proctor lied. Little did he know that then Nuttall would lie and then Kerry Roberts would also lie. So, what a week. Jennifer McCabe told Michael Morrissey that she's not testifying unless Turtleboy is in jail. Well, this is interesting. We'll get back to the timeline in a second. Michael Morrissey informed Jennifer McCabe he would then have to subpoena her, and Jennifer McCabe then told Michael Morrissey, then we won't say what you want us to say. 16. Kate Peter got rid of her phone the day after Aidan Kearney announced on his live show that he was looking to get personal communications of Michael Morrissey. Kate Peters said to me, they will never get the communications between me and Morrissey. Somebody said here. Beach Rando, can the sofa be impounded as evidence? Asking for a friend. Yeah. Have you ever heard of more people destroying their phones than you have in this case? I mean, as if it wasn't bad enough that Brian Albert and Brian Higgins both destroyed their phones like on the same day, and they both got new phone numbers. And Brian Higgins went so far as to go cut through a military base and crack his SIM card in half and put that in one dumpster and throw his phone in another dumpster. But she didn't learn from that. So I don't know if she really did get rid of her phone. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. She seems to think she's untouchable. She's a confidential informant who apparently has been promised immunity. And isn't that interesting? Because how many, restraining orders does she have against her? And she never seems to catch any charges, really. Nothing ever happens. Everything keeps getting adjourned and adjourned and adjourned and adjourned. And what is that proof of? Perhaps, maybe, she really has been promised immunity. And in the Karen Read case, the defense has demanded the Commonwealth to turn over all promises and inducements. Anybody who's been promised anything, anybody who's been paid. Kate Peter is not a witness in the Karen Read case. But if she's a confidential informant working with the DA's office to get around the gag order so that she can talk about the Karen Read case, it's relevant and it's discoverable. 17. The day that Kate Peter showed up to protest at the Karen Read trial, Kate Peter informed me that Jen McCabe paid me for her show of support. Okay, I heard. What time is the Celtics game? All right, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and see what time the Celtics game is, because if people keep putting that in the chat, I guess I need to be done by then, right? Because everyone's anxious. Let's see, Celtics. Oh, there's 6 minutes left in the game. Should I hurry up? Should I hurry up so that you guys can run? I mean, come on, guys. Give me a break. On March 16th of 2025, Peter told me she went to meet with Michael Morrissey and Jen McCabe at an undisclosed location in Braintree. When Peter returned home, she had a manila envelope in her hands. Kate Peter has informed me that she has seen emails that are subject to a protective order between the Karen Read prosecution team and Jennifer McCabe. No, it's not that they want to watch the Celtics. It's that there's something going to happen after the Celtics game. And I think I'm short on mods tonight because I don't see these things getting deleted. But if you'd rather go watch another creator, please just go. This is not an airport. You do not need to announce your departure. You can go without trying to bring everybody else with you. So, if you want to go watch somebody else, just go do it. You do not need to announce your departure. There's over 10,000 people here who want to listen. Okay. Peter has informed me that she has seen emails that I just read that. Kate Peter reported to me that upon request of Hank Brennan, she provided the spreadsheet of all the Free Karen Read Facebook supporters to the Commonwealth for this upcoming trial. I don't know what spreadsheet she's talking about. There's more than one Free Karen Read Facebook page. I'm not in any of these groups, or I hate Facebook. And don't tell me not to be so sensitive either, because that is the worst thing that you could say to somebody who's being sensitive. Don't be so sensitive. See, then I lose my train of thought. I'm just telling people, it's like I need to teach people manners. Facebook is truly awful. Thank you, Jilly, for getting me back to because what I said on Court TV the other night is when Vinny said to me, what do you think was going on with these text messages? I said, Karen and John had like the 3 key ingredients to in the recipe for relationship disaster. Number 1, they were communicating by text message. Number 2, Facebook. And number 3, alcohol. Those are like the 3 key ingredients to a toxic relationship. Hi, Kelly Reed. Kelly Reed is here. So there must be a spreadsheet that Kate Peter allegedly has where she has all the people that are members of the Free Karen Reed Facebook group. Did she provide it to the Commonwealth so that they could know who these people are in case they came in for jury duty? I have no idea. I have no idea what that is supposed to mean, but this woman says that Kate Peter told her that she did that. Number 21. Peter told me that Hank Brennan is providing information to the federal authorities regarding Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney because he wants them in jail for the trial. Okay? Kate Peter told this woman that Hank Brennan is providing information to the feds regarding Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney because he wants them in jail for the trial. Well, we're going to go over that timeline in a minute. And may support that. 22. Kate Peter told me she's going to start rumors about jurors being afraid to serve because Turtleboy will go after them. And everyone is working overtime to make sure that Turtleboy can't be in the courtroom for the trial. Well, they tried. They tried. Darlene, I've already said it 14 times. I'm not going to say it again. Where's Kindergarten Cop? See, Kindergarten Cop is busy tonight, or he would be all over this. This is all about the hatred for Aidan Kearney. This is not about justice for John O'Keefe. If you ever had any doubt, let me allay your fears right now. 23. Peter admitted to me that she created the image of Karen Reed and Alan Jackson embracing that was given to the Daily Mail. Well, how much did she get for it? That was then given to the Daily Mail. I don't think actually, okay, Kate Peter admitted she created the image that was then given to the Daily Mail. Who gave it to the Daily Mail and who got paid for it? I'd like to know that. It's been debunked as fake. 24. In early January, Kate Peter and I were discussing the Lindsay Gattani case against Aidan Kearney. I mentioned something about Gattani being pregnant at the time, and Kate Peter interrupted me saying, Lindsay was never pregnant. I am aware that Kate Peter and Lindsay Gattani were close friends in the past and worked together against Mr. Kearney. Yeah, and the Bederow letters set that out pretty well, too, with lots and lots and lots of receipts. Lots of them. 25, I understand that I am not represented by any attorneys connected to the Aidan Kearney or Karen Reed defense teams, and that I am turning over this information because it is important to know the truth about what is going on. 26, I am not being coerced or compensated, and I am doing this of my own free will. XOXO, signed under the pains and penalties of perjury on April 21st of 2025, which was before the trial started. Yes, you can bet your ass that these were vetted and that there are other receipts other than just this affidavit, because I know Mark Bederow and I know about Tim Bradl, and they would not file anything without a good faith basis to do so. Now, here is the timeline. 1 minute. Okay, it is alleged in this affidavit, right, that on March 16th, Jennifer McCabe met Morrissey and Brennan. Hold on. Was it Morrissey and Brennan? Wait a second. No, it's not. It's Kate Peter says she went to meet Michael Morrissey and Jen McCabe. On March 16th. Okay. Remember the charges I was telling you before about Aidan Kearney intimidating the window on March 4th? On March 14th, there was a hearing. I think we covered it live or on Zoom, or maybe it was audio only, or I don't know, because I'm conflating everything in my head. But on March 14th, there was a conference on that case. That was the first court appearance on that case. Cosgrove said in open court that he was not seeking bond revocation in Aidan's case, okay? March 16th, Jennifer McCabe meets Morrissey in Braintree with Kate Peter and says she won't testify unless both Karen and Aidan are in jail. March 17th, the day later, Cosgrove files to revoke Aidan's bond. Remember? March 18th, there was a hearing. We covered that one. I just watched it a little bit before. In Aidan's case, Cosgrove did ask for Aidan Kearney's bond to be revoked. The judge, refresh my recollection on who the judge was that day because we really like that judge. Was it Krupp? Bradl went nuts because he's like, first of all, he already said the other day he was not going to ask to revoke his bond. I'm not prepared for this because he said he wasn't going to ask to revoke his bond. And the judge said, wait a second. If you wanted to revoke his bond, you were supposed to ask during the first court appearance, and wasn't that like the other day? Because they were in court on a different matter. Judge Stanley Tucci, no, not Krupp. Kasitsky, no. Cupcake remembers. What happens in the dark always comes to light, Tiff. Always. Doolin? And it was not on Zoom. We had it. Sisitsky. Michael O'Donnell sounds sure. He doesn't have a question now. I mean, he doesn't have a question mark after it. It was Sisitsky that did that hearing on the... You can watch it. I have it on my channel. It's in the Commonwealth versus Aidan Kearney playlist. Or we can play a little bit of it if you want to. And the judge was like, yeah, no, you should have asked for that on the 14th when you had when you brought this up in court and said there's new charges, blah, blah, blah. That's when you should have brought up the bond revocation. So no, I'm not going to revoke the bond. And then on March 20th, we covered this live too. March 20th was the day the Saints came marching in. Do you remember? The Saints came marching in. Karen and her team were in the basement of the courthouse of Norfolk Superior watching YouTube when they found out that Hank Brennan was arguing a motion to get Aidan Kearney's text messages with Karen Reed in Karen Reed's case in front of Judge Sisitsky. It was Doolin. Thank you. It was Doolin on the 14th, right? Judge Doolin. We like him too. I know. So the hearing on the 20th was in front of Judge Sisitsky because they're asking for text messages between Karen and Aidan, and Brennan's there arguing, and the motion was filed in Karen's case, not Aidan's case. And Karen and her team are in the basement of the courthouse watching it on YouTube. They see this hearing's going on without them. They come up and it's like when the Saints came marching in, I made an Instagram reel. I put that music to it. Can't play it for you because YouTube doesn't like the music. They'll strike me. And the look that Karen gave him when she sat down, because the court officers came running over, pulling out chairs for them. And the judge was confused. He's like, what are you doing here? And Brennan was like, what are they doing here? They don't have any standing to be here. And Mr. Jackson was like, hello, this is in the Karen Reed case. What do you mean? Whether you think we have a right to be heard or not, we certainly have a right to be present. Isn't that funny? Because isn't it like one of the conditions of Karen's bail that if she doesn't show up to court, they can revoke her bail? Right? Right? So doesn't that give this a little more weight? Jennifer McCabe refusing to testify? Unless Karen and Aidan are in jail? That was an amazing entrance, wasn't it? That's the timeline. Stifler's mom's like, yep, we all knew. The look on, yeah. Everyone knew. They were trying to get her locked up, so gives this affidavit a little more weight, doesn't it? What's going to happen in court tomorrow? Are they going to come in and start? The Rock is a huge problem. If The Rock was there when the jury was there, that's a problem. They're going to have to go on another view. First of all, I think the view was too early. I think they should have waited until, maybe Brian Albert testified that, he didn't wake up. And then the jury could go and look at the proximity of Brian Albert's window to where John O'Keefe's body and all this activity was happening on the morning of January 29th. Be like, what do you mean? He didn't wake up. There's lights. There's Karen screaming on the lawn. How did he not wake up? It's so close, right? Yes, Jamie, they did. On the docket, it said defendant was a no-show or something like that. I don't know. Don't know why the rock was there. I have no idea. I have no idea why it was there. But if it was there when the jury came for the view, I don't know. Was it grounds for mistrial? I don't know. Highly prejudicial? Yeah. Should they have to go back for another view? Maybe. It's crazy. It's just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, it gets crazier. Hi, Michelle. I believe that Ian Whiffen is going to be up first in the morning, and then we're going to have the Ark of Wadir in the afternoon. That's what my sources say. Thanks, Michelle, for your super chat. Kelly says, do you think Bev is looking for a way to keep Arca out? What could the defense do if she does something like that? She's been trying to hamstring the defense at every turn since before the first trial, every pre-trial motion, every... first of all, I don't think she can totally keep them out because it's like, it's reversible error. I mean, but who the hell knows what she intends to do? She could limit their testimony. Let's wait and see what happens tomorrow. Let's wait and see. I'm not going to put anything past her, though. There are people out there who are like, no way, she'll never preclude them. She's been looking for a reason. She was looking for a reason to throw Alan Jackson off the case. She didn't do that. She has all these grave concerns. Is she going to have grave concerns tomorrow? When this stuff may come out in court? I don't know. She seems to only have grave concerns about certain things. That's why she's making Arca come tomorrow and bring all their communications with the defense team as if, they were in collusion. She's got grave concerns about that. That the defense may not have their text messages because, the attorneys have their, I don't know if they have their text messages set to delete after a certain period of time, but she seemed to think that that was okay, that Michael Morrissey had his text messages or emails or whatever to delete after 30 days, like Brennan told her in open court. She didn't seem to have a problem with that. That didn't cause her grave concerns. Z says the Alberts lived there for 50 years and Jim lived there for 40 years. Equals lots of tea. Yeah, Jim was great on court TV. Praise Jim. George Martinez says, do you think luminol can still be used to detect John O'Keefe's blood traces on the basement floor? I heard that they jackhammered up the concrete. So I don't know, George. I don't know. You know who would be a great person to ask? Ed Wallace. I've been talking to Ed. He's going to come on the show. He's a forensics expert. It's a great question for him. I think, listen, we know that they were in that basement after the Alberts sold the house because during the first trial, they showed a video coming out of the bulkhead door, coming up the steps from inside the basement, coming up those steps, open the bulkhead doors, come out, had the video camera track around to the left. There were two big openings to the gate, like you could fit a boat or a car through, and then followed it right outside to where the body was found. Luminol? Don't know if it was ever done. Crafty Councilwoman says, so glad you're doing a video on this. I've been waiting all weekend to see you. Go, oh, thank you. I was trying to take the weekend off, but things keep popping up. Aunt Baby says, Mel, I bet Jim has the tea. Does anyone know him? Tell him we all want to know. He's probably worried for his safety. And really, Aunt Baby, who could blame him, right? Do you think Karen's team knew about this before it dropped yesterday? And will it affect her case tomorrow? We'll see if anybody brings this up. But if, if Kate Peter has access to these emails that are protected by a protective order, there's a lot of issues here. The least of which is them paying Kate Peter $1,500 a month. That's the least of their problems. Do I think they knew about it? Probably, likely. And that's why they made that motion. We looked at it the other day. They made a motion. They want information on any witnesses who say that they're reluctant to testify. Did Jennifer McCabe write an email saying, I'm not testifying unless you put Kearney and Reed in jail? She probably wouldn't put it in an email. She may have had a conversation. They want the conversations too. Thank you, guys. Chick56, appreciate you. And the Goodman's gifted membership, yay. Kathleen, if Karen Reed's team makes a similar motion, can they attach the same affidavit? No, they would need to talk to that witness personally. and write their own affidavit for that witness, but it's too late to be making motions at this point. This is a motion made specifically in Aidan Kearney's case to get the Commonwealth to turn over discovery. So it's a different proceeding. It's a different thing. Can Jen McCabe be cross-examined about some of this stuff? Is hearsay. I mean, I don't know how you get over the hearsay exception. Somebody told somebody who told somebody that's in an affidavit. Like, you really can't get around it. But it just makes everything look so much more sus, right? Thanks for your question, Kathleen. LJ Breenan, dubbed as the taint team, further solidifies my thoughts he's protecting Marcy. Yeah. We're like, if the Alberts are this powerful and influential family, I've been wondering since the beginning of time, since we started covering this case, what secrets are being kept for the big players in this case? Who knows what about who? Why would people risk their lives, their livelihoods, their careers, their families to protect people? In this case, it's crazy. Dr. Magoo, in the envelope could have been the talking points for the Twitter idiots. Oh, could have been. Who knows what it could have been? And the walls come crumbling down. Thank you, Al Dente. It's on the playlist. Thanks for tuning in from Canada. Nicole Lee, so happy you went live. It's been a rough weekend for me, and you're my safe space. So thank you. Oh, I hope your weekend gets better, Nicole. Tomorrow, we're back to court. Gray Space Docket says Judge for Turtleboy's hearing on Wednesday is halal. Oh, I love that for him. I love that. Well, first of all, I think his hearing is on Thursday because I think it's. Hold on. Hold, please. I think it's Thursday because I think he said it was the first, number one. Halal is the judge who tried Dr. Turk's case. We like him a lot. We like him. He's a friendly. And Turtleboy also said, I heard on his show last night, that on the days that he has court, there is no court in the Karen Read trials, which makes me wonder if Thursday is going to be no court for Karen Read, in which case we can cover Turtleboy's hearing in front of one of our favorites, Judge Halal. Thank you for looking that up for me. Appreciate you. ShamWow, Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my, you've been here for 8 months, ShamWow. Did you change your name? Another Canadian. Priscilla, thanks for your 20. Sus much. 314, Marcy stated he wouldn't revoke bond. Well, it wasn't Marcy, it was Cosgrove. But yeah, Marcy's office. Yep. Cosgrove, who's a special prosecutor, who, by the way, you can correct me, Chad, if I'm wrong, is a retired judge from Norfolk County. Yeah? Didn't he also speak at Judge Cannoni's swearing in? Like, you can't make this up. That's why I think that motion that day was heard in front of Sisitsky instead of Cannoni, because I was like, Cannoni's heard every Rule 17 motion in this case from the beginning of time. Why is it all of a sudden assigned to a different judge? Why is it being done on the QT? Why was Karen's team not notified that it was happening? So sus. 316, Kate Peter and Jen McCabe meet with Morrissey. March 18th, Aidan had court to revoke his bond. Yeah. And then the 20th was the Karen Read hearing that they didn't get notice of. Thank you for your super chat. Basically, Kate Peter is a narc, says misnomer. Kind of. Yeah, kind of. Thanks. Z McCarthy, new and just joined. If Commonwealth, welcome. If Commonwealth doesn't call Proctor, how will the defense be able to handle him effectively since they can't call witnesses to impeach? Well, they can call him as a witness on their case in chief. The only thing is they have to ask him questions in a direct examination matter. They can't cross-examine him, but they can certainly call him on their case in chief, and I'm sure that they will. If the Commonwealth doesn't call him, they certainly will. Thank you very much, Debbie. Welcome to your first live. Weird Debbie became a member. Welcome. Aura, thanks for hanging out for 10 months. Love you, Mel, for the breaking news. You're the best. Well, you know what? It's already like 24 hours old already, and so many people have already covered it, but my inbox was flooded, so I'm here. Julie, thank you. This whistleblower reached out to Mike of Young Jerks. He told her to call Mr. Bradl. According to Mike, this affidavit was vetted by Bradl. Well, of course. I didn't know that the person reached out to Young Jerks first, and that was good advice that he gave her to call Tim Bradl. And that they're gonna trust but verify everything and have receipts. Michelle says the only thing I couldn't reconcile is how it is said that Jen McCabe wouldn't testify. Doesn't it only benefit her family to testify? So why would she say that? Threats? Threatening him? Maybe she knows that they got the goods on him, and so he has to comply with her demands. I don't know. Anybody else in the chat have any ideas? Any ideas? The chat just stopped moving for me, so I don't know. Are we frozen here? Sarah says, I know, Michelle, that's such a good question. That's what I was saying too. I'm like, what does that mean? We all have ideas. We're not going to speculate, but the corruption here goes far deeper than the Karen Read case, you guys. Like, people in Massachusetts have been talking about this for decades. Decades. My head has popped off a million times. Someone's got some serious dirt on someone. That's basically what it is. Why would a district attorney, why would Michael Morrissey go on television and do that hostage video? It's being taught in law schools as what to never do if you're a district attorney, what you should never do. Getting out in August of 2023 in front of a whole bunch of law reporters that were out of order and upside down, tape recording a statement in his office and then just pumping it out to the media. No questions, no press conference. And then we found some emails between David Traub and somebody with the first name Julie. And David Traub says, "Oh, Chief Rafferty relayed your concerns to me. Funny, we're just taping that statement that you suggested, Julie." Colin Albert's mother's name is Julie Albert. Chris Albert is her husband. At the time, he was a town select board member. Do the math. Michael Morrissey mentioned Colin Albert more in that hostage video, as I called it, because it looked like somebody was holding the gun to his head off camera while he read from a prepared statement. Mentioned Colin Albert more times than anybody. Michael Proctor was never at 34 Fairview. He didn't plant taillight. Talking about how Karen Read's defense team was like spewing lies, and it was insane. Have you guys not seen it? I mean, because we could watch it, because it's only 5 minutes long. I am always willing to watch the hostage video. You know I will. I just got to find it. If there's anybody in the chat who hasn't seen that hostage video, it's unbelievable. Stop. Let's watch it. Suze, are you here? Can somebody email me a link to it just so I can still keep taking questions? If anybody has it at the ready, fanbase at Little, you guys know my email. If you could, that'd be so awesome. We'll play it. It's only 5 minutes. Yeah, somebody's got something on somebody. Somebody's got something on everybody. There's a lot of questions. Muzzolina, could this be why Brennan didn't have enough witnesses on Thursday? Could be. Or he wanted them to leave. What was the last thing they saw on Thursday? The video clips of Karen saying the nasty things about Mrs. O'Keefe. Was that on Thursday? I mean, why didn't she yell at him for not having his witnesses ready and wasting the jury's time and only having a half a day? We had 2 half days of court this week. Oh, Suzanne is my girl. Double Trouble 247 filing 638 tells me the team already knows about the affidavit stuff. Thank you. 638. You know what? I love when you give me the numbers because that's how I have everything. I have everything by docket number in my system, and that is the defendant's motion for specific discovery. This was filed on March 28th. Thank you, Double Trouble 247, because we're going to bring it up again. If I can, why is that not working? All right, go. Present, share screen, and then we're going to watch the hostage video. For those of you who haven't seen it, you're gonna love it. It's going to blow your mind. You're not even going to believe it. This is the defendant's motion in the Karen Read case for specific discovery. And here's where they asked for number 3, any information including any oral or written statements or communication of any witness suggesting a reluctance or refusal to testify in connection with this case. And we thought when we were going over this, I'm like, who do you think it could be? I was thinking maybe it's Brian Jr., maybe it's Katie McLaughlin, maybe it's some of the other girls that were in the house. They don't want to testify. I never thought it was going to be Jennifer McCabe. Like, that to me is mind-blowing. Is it mind-blowing to you? Number 4, any information, including any oral or written statement or communication of any witness wherein a witness suggested a reluctance or refusal to cooperate. And I said cooperate, not coabowate, in case you're paying attention. Any information, including any oral or written statement or communication of any witness, including any promises, inducements, or rewards made to any witness in this case. Any information, including any oral or written statement or communication of any witness for what can reasonably be defined as a quid pro quo, this for that, in connection with this case. Any information, including any oral or written statement or communication of any witness indicating an intention or the possibility of changing any part of his or her testimony at trial. Well, guess who did change her testimony? Carrie Roberts. She changed her testimony from what she told the grand jury, the state grand jury. She told the state grand jury that she heard Karen Reed tell Jen McCabe to Google how long hypothermia. That's what she said to the grand jury. And when she was cross-examined on the stand on, I guess it was Wednesday of last week, she said, I didn't lie. I just misunderstood the question. I didn't hear her say that. I didn't hear Karen Reed say that, but I knew she said that. I knew she told her to Google hypothermia. And he's like, really? How'd you know that? I said, because, of the timeline that we made. Jennifer McCabe told me. And then Alan Jackson said, oh, so you're saying that the timeline influenced your testimony? And then she tried to abada her way out of that question. And then the evil came out. You saw the evil. You saw the evil come out when she said, I misunderstood the question, Mr. Jackson. And the judge said, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. She said, I misunderstood the question, Mr. Jackson. And we did a poll in the chat. We had 16,000 people respond to the poll. And the question was, do you think that Carrie Roberts' statement to the grand jury, and then one question was an intentional lie? The second option was misunderstood the question. And the third one was, I don't know. 99% of 16,000 people who responded to that poll said she intentionally lied to the grand jury. And remember that was the grand jury in which Karen Reed's charges were upgraded to murder. The grand jury was in April. I think her testimony was in April of 2022. And they had almost 3 months to get their timeline straight. And he said, did you say that because somebody told you to, like Jennifer McCabe? And she said, no, misunderstood the question, Mr. Jackson. Oh, and then here, number 8 is a copy of all communications regarding any meetings between any witness with any member of the Norfolk County DA's office, including but not limited to DA Michael Morrissey, Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan, ADA Laura McLaughlin, ADA Adam Lally, and/or ADA Caleb Schillinger, or any member of Massachusetts State Police. Well, guess they knew. Well, I mean, I don't know if they knew that this was coming, because I don't know when this witness reached out to Bradl's office. But she signed the affidavit the day before the trial started. So, I mean, is it a happy accident? Bev's suspenders. Well, I see what you did there. From Australia, do they need to voir dire ARCA again? Seems like a waste of money and time to me. Well, this voir dire is going to be special. For this voir dire, the judge wants them. I'll show you because she made an order. So if you guys haven't seen this order, I did go over it one day at the end of the stream, so a lot of people didn't see it. And so I'll show it to you again. She wants all communications between the crash daddies and anybody, including like the feds. It's crazy what she wants them to bring with them. Now, if I can find the docket number on that. She wants all of their communications. She's trying to find out whether Dr. Wolf and Dr. Rentschler were in communication with Alan Jackson and the defense team prior to the first trial, and whether they were colluding, and changing their testimony, whether they had an agreement to pay them after the trial and they didn't disclose it. And she's going to use that, hang that over their head as some sort of, ethical violation, and use it as an excuse to try and preclude some of their testimony or to sanction them or something. So, there's that. Dr. Russell's Gaff said, it took me a while to warm up to you, and I love your sense of humor, born in 1977. Oh, you're a baby. Thank you for your 20. I'm an acquired taste, there's no middle ground. You love me or you hate me. Most people hate me on Twitter, but you guys don't go on Twitter, so we're safe. We're safe here. Let's take a look. For those of you who haven't seen this hostage video, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. Thank you to Suzanne for being the first in. First in. It's only 5 minutes long. Okay, so here's the backstory on this, okay? So this is in August of 2023. Michael Morrissey, his office moved for a gag order. Remember, Adam Lally was the originally prosecuting this case, persecuting Karen Reed. Adam Lally was the attorney. He made a motion for a gag order in around August 2023. And it was denied. And Karen had done like an interview or something. And so people were apparently pissed about it. Some of the witnesses in this case were pissed about it. And apparently they suggested to Chief Helena Rafferty of the Canton PD that he should make this statement, because the emails came out just recently through a FOIA request. And after the gag order was denied and Karen Reed did her interview, and Alan Jackson may have been on it with her and said like some things about the people that in the house and the third party culprits and all. Remember, this is way before the first trial. This is like August of 2023. He recorded this in his conference room and sent it. We saw like David Traub, who told Julie, who he sent it to, Dateline, Nightline, Court TV, everyone. We sent it out there. Thanks for your suggestion. Also, what happened this week, Helena Rafferty, chief of the Canton PD, announced that she's retiring. You know what happens when you retire? You get to keep your pension. Just another accident, coincidence? You tell me. This is what I have called the hostage video. I think I'm the one who named it that because I never heard anybody else say it, and I like it. I'll allow it. Listen up, because you're not going to believe it. Here we go. Michael Morrissey, District Attorney of Norfolk County, in August of 2023. Ready? Buckle up, buttercups. Notice he's obviously reading something, because you can see his shifty eyes shifting down to the paper. Oh, you can't hear the sound? Oh, hold on. Maybe I shared the, hold on. Thank you for telling, at least I caught it quickly. We can start it again. But notice how he's reading from a paper. And notice how he starts right off talking about the witnesses in the Karen Reed case. This is what his whole MO is. Let me know you could hear it now.
This will be the first statement of its kind in my dozen years as Norfolk District Attorney. The harassment of witnesses in the murder prosecution of Karen Reed is absolutely baseless. It should be an outrage to any decent person, and it needs to stop.
It needs to stop. Oh, it's an outrage, all right. This is an outrage that a sitting district attorney would make a statement like this about the harassment of witnesses. It needs to stop. I'm going to let it play through, and then maybe we'll watch it again and I'll comment on it.
Innuendo is not evidence. False narratives are not evidence. However, what evidence does show is that John O'Keefe never entered the home at 34 Fairview Road in Campton the night he died.
Really? He's telling the potential jury pool? 9 months before this trial has even started, he's tainting the jury pool by telling the jury pool that the evidence shows that John O'Keefe never went in the house the night he died. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, I said I would not talk, but I can't not talk. I just can't. Also, fair use. I'll link it below so you can go watch it without my interruptions.
Location data from his phone, recovered from the lawn beneath his body when he was transported to the hospital, shows that this phone did not enter that home.
Really?
11 people have given statements that they did not see John O'Keefe enter the home at 34 Fairview that night. 0 people have said that they saw him enter the home. 0. No one.
Is he telling the public that Karen Read is guilty? I mean, he might as well just be saying Karen Read is guilty, Karen Read is guilty, Karen Read is guilty. Why are you even having a trial? 11 people said that they didn't see him enter the home. 0 people said he came in the home. Are you kidding me?
Some have, without any evidence, pointed to 18-year-old Colin Albert, a nephew of the homeowner, and accused him of attacking John O'Keefe as he entered the home. But phone evidence shows O'Keefe never entered the home at all.
Phone evidence shows
Testimony
that?
from witnesses tell us that 18-year-old Colin Albert had left his uncle's home before John O'Keefe and Karen Read had arrived outside the residence. There was no fight inside that home. John O'Keefe did not enter the home. Colin Albert, the young man being vilified, was not present when Read's vehicle and John O'Keefe arrived on the street. This is a false narrative.
False narrative.
Colin Albert.
Karen Read's defense is a false narrative. Wait a second. He already mentioned Colin Albert 3 times. This is time number 4. I'm going to take it back. Ready? This will be the fourth time that he's going to mention Colin Albert in August of 2023.
This is a false narrative.
False narrative.
Colin Albert didn't commit murder. Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night. They have been forthcoming.
You know what crime they did commit? Lying to the grand jury. In order to get her charged with murder, they did, well, at least one has admitted to it. That's a crime. It's called perjury. Are you going to prosecute her? No. Because this is a false narrative that Karen Read is spewing. This is what he's telling the jury pool of Norfolk County all the way back in August of 2023. They've been forthcoming. Hold on. They made timelines. False narrative. Let's go back.
Colin Albert didn't commit murder.
That's 4 times.
Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Albert. These people were not part of a conspiracy and certainly did not commit murder or any crime that night.
He never mentions Higgins. Great point.
They have been forthcoming with authority, providing statements, and have not engaged in any cover-up. They are not suspects in any crime. They are merely witnesses in a case.
I'm sorry. District Attorney Michael Morrissey, what do they have on you? What do they have on you? This is unprecedented, you say. Unprecedented in your dozen years as District Attorney. You've never had to make a statement like this before, ever. Has nobody ever tried to hold anything over your head and threatened you with God knows what? What is going? This is also around the time that he was ramping up. Remember the letters we went over? He started writing letters to the U.S. Attorney's Office when he got wind, because Jennifer McCabe was telling him they started getting federal subpoenas to go to a federal grand jury. And they're like, why do we have to go to a federal grand jury? And he starts freaking out and he starts writing all these letters, and they start ramping up and ramping up and ramping up with like his mania. Let's just say he wanted to know what they knew. And he starts like screaming in his letters to them about, I have obligations under Brady to turn over all evidence to the defense in this case. And you have to tell me what you know, and you have to give me stuff because I got to turn it over. I'm sorry. He's well aware of his Brady violations. And yet all that Sally Port video just sat in a drawer. And now the judge is blaming Michael Proctor for that. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Chappaquiddick, like what is going on here?
To have them accused of murder is outrageous. To have them harassed and intimidated based on false narratives and accusations is wrong. They are
Remember, Julie Blank relayed her concerns to Chief Rafferty, and Chief Rafferty relayed her concerns to David Traub, the spokesperson for the Norfolk DA's office. And David Traub told Julie, your suggestion, we're working on your suggestion right now. He's filming it right now, Julie. He mentioned Colin Albert 4 times. How many times did he mention John O'Keefe? Once? Maybe twice?
witnesses doing what our justice system asks of them. The autopsy of John O'Keefe was conducted by a forensic pathologist from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The doctor found that the injuries that left John helpless in the cold were not a result of a fight.
She also didn't find that they were a result of a car accident, and she also would not change her manner of death to homicide from undetermined. And is it true that Brennan is not going to call Irene Scorti-Bello? I heard that in passing, but has that been confirmed? What kind of medical examiner writes in the autopsy report, these injuries were not consistent with a fight? I'm sorry, what? They also weren't consistent with drowning, a fire, an explosion. Who does that?
She further found that the line of abrasions on his arm was consistent with blunt trauma, not an animal attack. A grand jury of everyday...
I'm sorry, did she say that in her... I don't think she said in the autopsy it was not an animal attack. So he just made that part up. It's like, we know she's going to say that because I'm going to make sure she says that. I don't think we never saw the autopsy report because it's never been released. But I don't think that she did say blunt force trauma. But she did not say it was not the result of an animal attack. She did not say that. So that's more BS that he just made up. Wow. What is he afraid of? What is he afraid of?
Citizens heard the documented evidence.
Okay, wait, listen. A grand jury of everyday citizens heard that. Okay, this is gonna have a whole new meaning now. Because now we know that at least Kerry Roberts lied to the state grand jury. So doesn't this have a little bit more meaning now? If you weren't here for me for the pretrial before the first persecution of Karen Reed, you don't know that the defense team made a motion to have the DA's office recused from this case, conflicted out because of Morrissey's personal ties to the people involved here that he's speaking about right now. They also made a motion for the judge to recuse herself because of perhaps bias or also some personal connections to some people involved in this case, but she denied both of those motions. So a grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence. Yeah. How much of it was lies? How much of it was lies?
A grand jury of everyday citizens heard the documented evidence and testimony before making a decision. The subject of that murder indictment enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton...
Or, because now we know one of them was lying about what she heard and saw. Kerry Roberts lied to the grand jury about hearing Jennifer McCabe tell Karen to Google hypothermia. Jen McCabe knew she made that search at 227. She deleted that record from her phone. It's the only search on her phone that she ever deleted out of 4,000, however many, 600 and something searches. One search was deleted. Haas long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. Tomorrow, Ian Whiffen is going to testify. I went back and watched his testimony today. I suggest go on the trial channel tonight if you want to, if you have some time, and watch Ian Whiffen's testimony from the first trial. He's a Canadian. He works for Celebrite. He's like a Celebrite customer service rep. If you've got a problem with Celebrate, you call him and he fixes it. It was also like an hour-long infomercial for his own app that he made called Artex. We'll see if he is going to talk about that tomorrow too. Jennifer McCabe knew she Googled it. She needed a reason because she had handed her phone over willingly, like she said. She probably, since she's got Morrissey on speed dial, had a copy of her phone extraction and was like, holy hell, inner circle, little circle, we got to figure out a reason why I did that. I know. Let's say Karen told me to Google it. During the family meeting where Julie brought the birthday donuts for Bri. And she was going to leave the birthday donuts and the coffee, by the way, in the car. But, Big Bri came to the door and said, hey, come on in. We got a murder. We got to have a family meeting. Take that back a sentence. Why should the witnesses who have committed no crime
be afforded less by members of the community? They should not be harassed for telling the government what they heard or saw. I'm asking the Canton community and everyone who feels invested in this case to hear all the actual evidence at trial before assigning guilt to people who have done nothing wrong. And certainly before taking it upon yourself to harass citizens who evidence shows have done nothing in this matter but come forward and bear witness.
Yeah, falsely. Thou shalt not bear false witness under his eye. Praise Keir, everyone. Praise Keir. We don't know anything about anything because your boys did such a piss poor investigation that there will never be justice for John O'Keefe because, solo cups, not securing the scene, leaf blowers, crime scenes talking to your investigators, 47 pieces of taillight magically revealing itself over the weeks to come. It's a joke. We don't know who did what because your guys didn't investigate. How embarrassing.
We try people in the court and not on the internet for a reason.
Really?
The internet has...
Because it sounds to me like you're actually proclaiming Karen Read guilty and a lie unchecked becomes the truth, remember?
No rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury. And the internet does not know all the facts.
The internet has no punishment for perjury. Wait, does that mean that you're going to prosecute Carrie Roberts for perjury? Do you think perjury is important? D.A. Morrissey, do you think perjury is a crime? Oh my God, did you hear what he just said about perjury? Hold on, we got to take that back because I'm so glad we watched this again. Because now that we know there's perjury here.
Rules of evidence on the court and not on the internet for a reason. The internet has no rules of evidence. The internet has no punishment for perjury. And the internet does not know all the facts. Conspiracy theories are not evidence. The idea that multiple police department, EMTs, fire personnel, the medical examiner, and prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt.
District Attorney Morrissey, have you heard about the Catholic Church scandal? Have you heard about the Catholic Church scandal and the thousands of children that were molested by priests for decades, maybe centuries? Have you heard about the secret that was kept by all those people? Have you heard about that? All it takes is to just have a couple of people look the other way. Wow. That scandal broke in Boston, by the way. I was the lead attorney for the victims on Long Island. So I know all about corruption. I know all about how people can keep secrets for decades, centuries even. You'd be surprised.
And prosecuting agencies are joined in or taken in by a vast conspiracy should be seen for what it is, completely contrary to the evidence and a desperate attempt to reassign guilt. Michael Proctor, the state police trooper, being accused of planting evidence outside 34 Fairview Road, was never at Fairview Road on the day of the incident.
Well, you know what's so funny about that, D.A. Morrissey, is that in some of the police reports, it actually says that Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanan responded to the scene. And then some of those twidiots tried to spin it that, there was more than one scene. When they say the scene, they meant they responded to the Canton PD. That was a scene, all right. It was a scene of another crime. Proctoring evidence. Michael Proctor was never at 34 Fairview on the day of the incident. Not fast, just a few. Well done, Kate, well done.
Proctor and his state police partner traveled together the entire day while other officers were processing 34 Fairview. Trooper Proctor was not there and did not plant evidence at 34 Fairview Road.
You know what's so funny?
In addition to having...
is that he just got fired. You know how hard it is to get fired from the Massachusetts State Police? He got fired for his conduct in this investigation. Oh my gosh, hindsight is 2020, huh? Huh, Mikey?
No opportunity to plant the evidence, as has been suggested. Proctor would have no motive to do so. Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? That didn't age well, did it? That didn't age well. Trooper Proctor, no close person. Can anybody believe a thing that this guy says ever again? Wow. Let's hear that again. You can't make this up.
Trooper Proctor had no close personal relationship with any of the parties involved in the investigation and had no conflict. And he had no reason to step out of this investigation. Every suggestion to the contrary is a lie.
Mm-hmm. A lie.
This should be seen for what it is and not used as a pretext to attack and harass others. What is happening to the witnesses, some with no actual involvement in the case, is wrong. It is contrary to the American values of fairness and the constitutional value of a fair trial.
What is happening, sir, to Karen Reed is wrong. The persecution of Karen Reed for a second time is wrong. That is what's wrong. You should never have gone ahead with prosecuting this case. And now you are so knee deep, neck deep in this that you cannot get, it's like quicksand, dude. This is like quicksand. That is how deep it is for you right now. Wow. It actually is seen for what it is, a frame job, 100%. 100%.
Stop now.
Wait, oh, sorry. That's my favorite part. It needs to stop now.
Some with no actual involvement in the case is wrong. It is contrary to the American values of fairness and the constitutional value of a fair trial. It needs to stop now.
It needs to stop now.
I am releasing this recorded statement rather than holding a news conference because my remarks need to be so narrowly tailored to the issue at hand while the prosecution is pending in Superior Court. But the message is the same. What is happening to these innocent people, these witnesses, is wrong and it needs to stop.
Needs to stop. Narrowly tailored. I'm sorry. Triggers me every time I watch it. It triggers me. I'm triggered. I'm triggered. Yeah, so that's what he was doing to the jury pool all the way back in August of 2023. And that did not age well, did it? So for everyone who's new to this case, welcome. Welcome. This is insane. And we're back. We're back. It's insanity. It's insanity. Michelle says, sounds like a good time to add the song to Spotify. Better get a lawyer by Cruelty for all the shenanigans and Brananigans. Oh, I'll allow that, Michelle. I like it. From the McAlbert Mafia. Well done. Brananigans. Hosslong to tell the truth. See what you did there. Well done. But what about the carpeting and the controlled climate storage unit Carrot's paying for? Yeah, I think it's kind of worthless. I don't think it's there's no chain of custody. It's not evidentiary. You know, I don't think it can really be used for anything. Because it was the carpet from I don't even know where, the first floor. And I think the allegations are that something happened in the basement. So I don't know. Portia, who investigates corruption when they are corrupt? The FBI. The feds are watching. You can bet they are, because you heard in that affidavit how Kate Peter told that woman who signed the affidavit that, my people got out the talking points that the federal investigation is over. And you know who did that? Helena Rafferty, Chief Helena Rafferty, as the chief of the KNPD. She put it out on her own letterhead that the federal investigation is over. And who is she to be publishing that information on her own letterhead? And now she just announced her retirement. I don't know. Funny the way it is if you think about it. KLM, remember the new homeowner put out ring of Jennifer Coffindoffer creeping. Wonder if ring will pop with the rock planter. Yep. We talked about that in the beginning. Yes, they did. She was like the Pink Panther, remember? That was crazy video. You can find that on the cesspool of Twitter if you so desire, but it's interesting and funny. KT Mualam, is it possible for this case to end up as a RICO case? I don't know. I don't know what exactly the feds are doing, but anything is possible. Could be. Dorothy, Turtleboy is Wednesday, April 30th at 2 p.m. in Norfolk Superior. So does that mean it's going to be a half day? It's going to be a half day? Because, he's got court in Stoughton sometimes too. So I guess we'll see, Dorothy. Thank you. I thought he said the 1st, and then he said Wednesday. So we'll figure it out by tomorrow. But I appreciate your super chat so much. LJ, where Hank is enjoying playing clips of Karen's interviews, I would love to see the defense play clips of Morrissey's hostage video in their closing. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Would she allow it? I doubt it. You are all set. Dirty Hanky says the McAlberts have something on Morrissey. It's clear blackmail and our collaboration. That's what people say, Dirty Hanky. Ruining my faith. Mel, do you think it's possible that Jen will plead the 5th? Well, she can't plead the 5th to anything that she's already testified about. So if there are new things that she thinks she could perhaps incriminate her if she answers them, she may. I think she's got too much ego to ever plead the 5th, because it would make her, in her mind, appear that she is guilty of something, and she won't have that because she probably has immunity too, and she probably thinks she can get away with whatever. I mean, God, if Kate Peter has immunity and she has been told that she can do whatever she wants and there's going to be no ramifications, do you think Jennifer McCabe ever thinks that she's ever going to get in trouble for anything? Doubtful. Thank you, Renew My Faith. Bill T. Hey, Jenny girl. We know you're watching. Bill, if these things are true, aren't some of these federal crimes? Yes, it could be. Yes, they could. And then also something weird came out, and I don't know about the truth or veracity of them, but it seems like Kerry Roberts may have been texting with Kate Peter the day she testified about parking near Turtleboy's car. Some screenshots of those text messages have surfaced, and apparently Kate Peter said to her, "You're doing great," on the stand, because remember she testified 2 days, like Tuesday and then Wednesday, and she came to court like for 2:00 on Tuesday. So it seems to be they're all in the inner circle. They're all friends and all things such as like that. Norman says Alberts must have some pictures of Morrissey doing some nasty stuff. I don't know, Norman. I started watching the new season of You. Has anyone started watching the new season of You on Netflix? Episode 1 was pretty good, and it was kind of about something like that. Somebody had proof against somebody about something, and they had to be taken away. They had to be taken away. They had to be taken out. AJ's full-throated motion is here and says, I dub the unforgiven. Kelly, if Chloe bit, you must have quit, says, I think they fear the McAlberts. This is scary, in my opinion. Well, I mean, listen, didn't Alan Jackson point to that in his opening? He's like, they are a powerful and influential family of Canton, and they have been for decades. And a lot of people fear them, from what I hear. People have written to me anonymously. They're like, don't say my name. Don't say my name. Don't say my name. But, the Alberts have 7 kids in their family. 6 of them were boys. Everyone in high school wanted to be them or date them or marry them. Some people did. A lot of kids looked up to them. It's like, if I could be like the cool kids, right? That song should go on the playlist, right? I wish that I could be like the cool kids, like the cool kids, like the cool kids. Who sang that song? It's like a random, is that like a one-hit wonder band? What the Duck says, if things were said verbally and not in writing, is a common practice for lawyers to make their own notes so there would still be documentation. Not always. Great question. Attorney O'Leary says there is a judicial conference in Massachusetts from April 30th to May 2nd. After lunch recess, 1 to 2 p.m., most courts will have minimal business or done by clerks, magistrates. Thank you. Thank you for that. The judicial conference. I don't know if that's going to affect this trial. As far as I know, I think there's court every day. I don't know. We'll see, but thank you for giving us a heads up, because wouldn't it be nice if we could all plan our lives around this trial? Because we do. We do. Dennis says shock and horror. No taillight pictures. No taillight pieces by The Rock. Brian Albert has photos of Michael Morrissey in the sheep. I don't know what that means, Dennis. Oh, is that like a reference to the goats in Severance? Because that's kind of funny. Dennis, thank you for your super chat and for tuning in from Canada and for being interested in this case from Canada, because the world is really watching, aren't we? We are the world, and you are watching. Kim McMillan says, would anything come of this if the Commonwealth just drops the charges? This is what drops his charges now. Thank you so much for circling back on Turtleboy, because this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking. If the motion to dismiss is granted, all this goes away. Right? I don't think that they would ever drop the charges against Aidan Kearney, because that would piss off too many of the victim witnesses, like the McCabes and Alberts and all of those people. If they drop the charges, that would piss them off. But if the motion to dismiss that has been hanging out there for like 6 weeks on Aidan Kearney's case is granted, like Gilbert Gottfried in what movie was that? You guys told me, was it? I don't think it was Goodfellas, but he's like, what do I got to have in this hand to make like what's over here in this hand go away? It would go away. Wouldn't it be crazy if the motion to dismiss was granted tomorrow or the next day and all of this stuff is just forgotten? Wow. That's exactly what I was thinking. Turtleboy said they have known for a while, says Shelley Silva. Thank you, Shelley Silva. Eileen says, well, then let the defense call the FBI as witnesses. Well, no, they can't be forced to testify. But it's a girl can dream. A girl can dream. Thanks, Eileen, for your 10. Dr. McGill, she's not getting the communication with the feds. Who, Kate? Oh, the judge, Lady Macbeth. Yes. Yes. She's not getting any communication with the feds. No, that is for sure. And wouldn't it be great if they came marching in tomorrow too? Like the attorney general for the state of Massachusetts came in and she's like, yeah, no, you're not getting that. the U.S. attorney was like, yeah, no. Ms. Foley comes marching in with them and is like, excuse me, Judge, you want what now? No, you're not getting that. No, we're not giving that to you. You're not the boss of us. On top, I wrote a 500-word essay for $250. It got denied. Now I emailed you 751. What? What? What are you talking about on top? What are you talking about? Iceman, thank you for also sending me the Morrissey, the horror show of the Morrissey video. You're the greatest. Baby, you're the greatest. Thank you, Marie. Marie says, I'm watching live and trying to figure out how to support my favorite law tuber. Well, that worked. Thank you for your Venmo. Wouldn't the taillight pieces have fallen in the road? If so, you would think they would have been moved by the plow. Yeah, or wouldn't they be underneath the snow instead of right on top of the snow? And isn't it funny that it took a couple of weeks for all those 47 pieces to be found by only Massachusetts State Police troopers? Nobody inside 34 Fairview ever found one piece. Thank you, Carrie, for your Cash App. Mama She for your Cash App. Except the notes are not attached. I have to go and find the notes. Justin, that's a very generous Venmo. Thank you, Justin, so much for your Venmo. He says, Brooklyn Botanic Garden cherry blossoms are very pretty, and the sea lion at Prospect Park Zoo made it a great trip to New York City. That's amazing, Justin. I am so glad you had a nice time, and that was really super generous of you and so appreciated. And Lori, thank you for just being me. Sends a Venmo. Stephanie, thank you so much for your Venmo. Says, thanks for a special Sunday night stream. We're all foaming at the mouth and so upset. Wow, this staggering corruption, a large web of deceit. Thank you, Stephanie. Very generous. You're a very kind and generous contributor to the channel. Always. A lot of emails coming in. You guys have all the information, all the deets on this sitch. Let me just check one more place before we move on to the next item of business here. Okay, Carrie, I got you. And Mama She, thank you so very much. I don't know, I just lost it. Thank you, Mama She. Thankful for you as well. Somebody wants to know if the basement being redone can come up in court. They would have to have somebody testify to that. Like the person who replaced the basement flooring would have to come in and testify to that. And I think there's been some rumors about who is the person who did it and that they are not going to be able, they're not willing to testify. People are afraid. People are justifiably afraid to speak out about these people who didn't do anything wrong, according to the district attorney, Michael Morrissey. When ARCA is allowed in, it's another sign this is a mission from God. Thank you, Kat Randall. Greg says, personally, I don't care if she gets her pension. Just get the F out, Marcy Rafferty. It's Freudian slip. Kelly says, if Bev is allowing them to go at ARCA so Marcy can try to dig info from them about the feds. Oh, in my opinion, Bev is allowing them to go at ARCA so Marcy can try and dig info from them about the feds and anything to stomp on Karen's rights. Yeah, it's just what's going on here is something that should not go on in the United States of America justice system. It just doesn't. And that's why so many LawTubers on LawTube are outraged about this because this just, it's like the upside down, inside out Narnia of the Hunger Games. It is insane. And I'm so happy that there's so many new viewers interested in this case because you can't believe it. If you were to try and tell your friend about this case, it would take 3 days, first of all. And so when you know about this case and you want to talk about this case, and now you have found a tribe of over 11,000 people here on a Sunday night, which is a crazy crowd for Sunday night, who want to talk about it with you and who understand what you're talking about. It's the insanity just continues, and it's mind-numbing. It's really mind-numbing. ShamWow says 11 people just got killed by a driver in my great city of Vancouver. Prayers up for Vancouver. Did that just happen just now? I'm so sorry. Thank you, ShamWow. Kelly White said it was strange they could not mention ARCA in the opening. Well, she does that. You know, she's the gatekeeper of the gates to hell, and it's her courtroom, and she's just, she's in charge, and she gets to do whatever she wants. And she does, clearly. She absolutely 100% does exactly what she wants. And, there's no guardrails. There's no checkpoints. There's no do not stop, do not pass go, collect 200, nothing. She gets to do whatever she wants. Judges are given wide latitude and immunity for most things. Wags, I would love to see the feds walk in with ARCA tomorrow and tell Bev to hush. Is that even possible? I don't even know. Anything's possible, right? Anything is possible, but, is it likely? No. Possible? Anything's possible. Thanks, Wags, for your super chat. LJ, with all the crazy liars raising my blood pressure, can we please end tonight with the video of Jim? Oh, wait, we already did that. We did the video of Jim. You got to rewind. Allie B from Tennessee. In a perfect world, the FBI would knock on all their doors as soon as the trial is over and lock all the McAlberts and friends up. Thank you, Allie B from Tennessee, for your super chat. KT, since the Commonwealth is using Proctor as a scapegoat, I hope he gets on the stand, tells the truth, and throws people under the bus. I doubt it'll happen because perjury. Well, if he told the truth, wouldn't be perjury. Right? But, you mean perjury for what he already said? He could be given immunity, right? He might want to start thinking about it. I mean, where's his wife and his sister? They ran to the news that day. The day before it was announced that he was terminated. They were, talking to the press about how they were so horrified about what was happening to him. And then the judge, in her decision, throws him under the bus and blames him for all the missing Sallyport video. Like, where were they then? Why aren't they speaking out now? He gave up everything for this. give up his pension, his life, his career, his family has been disgraced. Where are they now? Live for now. Welcome. Became a member. How many paratroopers did you march to the ME's office to bully doctors to get that no fight LOL edition added to the death certificate, Mr. Morrissey? Well, I mean, we know that Proctor and Buchanan met with her at least 3 times and she wouldn't do it. He called her a whack job. Maybe that's why they're not calling her again, because Proctor referred to her as a whack job in his text messages and then tried to pretend that it was about Karen Reed, but we know the truth. Double Trouble 247, Jen McCabe claiming she took over compressions and Kerry saying it last week. Why wouldn't Jen McCabe's hands be bloody when she Googled? Why lie? Did Jen McCabe claim that she took over compressions, or was it only Kerry that said that? I don't remember Jen saying that the first time. Did she? Does anybody know? I mean, we still have her testimony to look forward to, so it's going to be fantastic. I don't know how she's going to keep her story straight. She's going to keep asking him to show her the papers. Show me the papers. Show me the papers. Show me what you're looking at. Show me what you're looking at. Why lie? Would you lie to save your family? Dirty Hanky, this is better than Ozark. Wow, it is. It is better than Ozark. But let me just say, Darlene from Ozark was like the best character on TV. One of the best characters on TV ever. Boy, did I love Darlene. Every scene she was in was fire. Callie Flowers, Higgins isn't part of the family, so he's fair game. Well, you didn't hear Morrissey talk about him once, did you? Did you? You didn't. He didn't mention him once. He's not fam. They're going to throw him under the bus. It remains to be seen. Oh, here's a clip of the Saints coming in. Hold on. Let's watch it. Let's watch it together, shall we? We shall. We shall. Let me just rewind. Hold on. This is when Brennan tried to hold the hearing on the QT without notifying Karen's team, and they were in the basement watching YouTube, and they saw it happening, and here's where they come marching in. Ready? I hope there's no music attached to this. In front of Judge, I think it was this is Judge Sisitsky in the same courtroom. Ready? Here we go.
Calendar invites, texts, videos, things that have absolutely nothing to do with communications between Mr. Kearney and the defendant.
Look at David United's face.
How can the Commonwealth make the threshold showing that those are relevant?
It's like,
first, this is a ruling with Mr. Kearney, so I'm asking that Mr. Kearney and his attorney be at the table. I'm not sure why we're being joined by Mr. Reed's team unless they have standing in this.
Karen's face says it all. I have clipped this and I have it. I use this picture of her on my thumbnails a lot. And I put Hank on the left side of the thumbnail with a weasel behind him because he reminds me of a weasel and he is a weasel. And it's Karen looking at him like that because the audacity.
We're a little confused and I don't mean calendar invites.
It's just a little loop. So let's watch it again because it's fun.
Text, videos, things that have absolutely nothing to do
when the
with
Saints
communications between
Mr.
Kearney and the defendant.
When the Saints come.
So how can the Commonwealth make the threshold showing
But I
that those are relevant?
want to be in that number.
First, this is a ruling with Mr. Kearney, so I'm asking that Mr. Kearney and his attorney be at the table. I'm not sure why we're being joined by Mr. Reed's team unless they have standing in this.
We're a little confused and I don't mean
Unless they have standing in this. The Rule 17 motion was filed under her case. It's her case. A Rule 17 motion in Massachusetts is a motion to get records of a third party. In this case, they wanted Aidan Kearney's text messages with Karen. It's important to point out also that the Commonwealth tried to indict Karen and Aidan for conspiracy to commit witness intimidation in March of 2024. They convened a grand jury, and the grand jury did not indict the ham sandwich of Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney. They've tried everything. Michael Welsh, who is on Twitter. He's an attorney in Boston. He started talking out about this case. Michael, call me if you want to come on the show. He says, remember the confusion over how Hank's motion for text between Karen and Aidan was filed on Karen's docket, and Hank obviously told Karen's team it was in a different courtroom and didn't want them there. If Karen didn't appear, that technically would have been a violation of her pretrial conditions of release. Anyone think Hank didn't consider the potential to file a motion to revoke Karen's bail if she didn't appear? I like how he used technically in there because that's what, Carrie Roberts on the stand said, yes, the other day. Well, technically, it wasn't the truth. Technically, I was under oath, but, I misunderstood the question technically. And then he goes on to say, this Michael Walsh, who actually is a real estate attorney. So, Michael, I just want to forewarn you that you will be attacked. We've all been there. Welcome. Welcome. He says, this is Morrissey's MO, folks. He uses special prosecutors and victim witness advocates to do the dirty work of coordinating efforts to get defendants' bail revoked right before trial when he has a weak case, especially when the defense can raise the issue of his corrupt practices during trial. The special prosecutor and witness advocates provide an extra layer of plausible deniability and also make it more difficult to get records of their communications and payments to third parties. Well, that's interesting too, because who's been in court a lot? Steve Nelson, the witness victim advocate. Word on the street is that he also gave the go-ahead for the Bryans to destroy their phones before the preservation order was handed down. And word on the street is also, well, no, Carrie Roberts testified to it. So it's not even word on the street. It's under oath. She's testified that she reached out to Steve Nelson, the victim, it is like Wiccan, isn't it? The victim, I wouldn't even disparage Wiccans by calling them part of this. She did contact Steve Nelson to see if it was okay if the O'Keeffes replaced their One Meadows ring cam. He was the guy who gave the go-ahead was okay to destroy the ring cam or replace it, so there's that. Yeah. Sleepless Sleuth says, the grand jury was in 2022. Google discovered in 2023 consciousness of guilt. If you ask me, Jen was planting that seed early on. Yeah. Because she knew, she Googled it, she knew she deleted it. She probably had an extraction of her phone, let's face it. Probably gave it to her, right? It was the defense discovered it in 2023. When was her phone extraction? Now you're saying her phone extraction wasn't done in 23. Regardless, here's what I think. I think she Googled it. She knew she had to cover it up. She needed a story. They had all these family meetings, all these group text messages, talking about the Asian house and just tell them the guy never went in the house and we'll find out more tomorrow. Don't text about it. Don't text about what? If you didn't do anything wrong and you're just trying to figure out how your friend died, what can't you text about? Why is Matt McCabe creeping through the neighborhood? Remember he said he was going to pick up a car. Pick up a car? What? And he's texting, brother-in-law, Big Brian, who was, fugitive task force squad member on Boston's Finest. He was a really big deal around there. He was a really big deal around there when he was on that Boston's Finest show, apparently. And there's video footage of him like taping up his hands to get into a boxing ring. Yeah. Tried playing that. I had to cut it out, but I did link the video somewhere. People are afraid of them. And now I forgot what I was saying, but yeah. So there's that. Allie B, leaf blower, red Solo cups, Stop and Shop bags, no crime scene tape, no evidence, macas, McAlbert relationships, the countless interviews at Jen's house, and 1,000 more items. Free Karen Read. Thank you. Thank you. I don't recall for becoming a new member. It is on the playlist. I don't recall. Peter Gabriel. Or I don't remember. I don't know what exactly. I forget the song title now. Tax Cut says, suspicion haunts a guilty mind. Yeah. Suspicious Minds is also on the playlist, by the way. It's in the show notes below. Felio739, thank you for your super sticker. Oops. Pinky promises. Can we now say that Kate Peter is Free Karen Read? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, she hates Aidan. That's clear. I mean, she does nothing but tweet about him all day long. Grace Base, Mars by Sleeping at Last for the playlist. Thank you. Navy Pearl, I can't buy a membership. I have an iPhone. I've tried everything. Any advice? Yeah, in the show notes below the video, there should be a link that says join here. Because yeah, iPhones are an issue. So you got to close out the chat. You got to go to the notes below the show. Call them the show notes. And there should be a link there for you. Welcome. Glad you want to join. We have special emojis for this trial. They're fun. Lindsay G, this is off topic, but I was wondering if you had any information about the Carly Gregg. That case still haunts me. Thank you for all the no, but you know what? That reminds me. I'll reach out to Bridget and find out how Carly's doing. And if there's anything happening, like appeals or anything. Thank you. I did have her attorney, Bridget Todd, on the show a couple of times, and I'll reach out to Bridget. Thank you for reminding me. Maya, I'm here for Melody to say there's a man passed out in the snow. There's a man passed out in the snow. There's a guy unresponsive in the snow. Could you get here? Thanks for the 5. Attorney O'Leary, I'm thinking an affidavit filed in Aidan's case could cause a mistrial in Reed's case. Discovery violations plus more. Your thoughts? My thoughts is that the affidavit is hearsay and it's really kind of worthless. I mean, it's offered for, to help Aidan try and get some more discovery, to try and get the judge to order the more discovery. But what I think is going to happen is that case is going to get dismissed and it's going to be a big nothing. So I don't think that affidavit could cause a mistrial because it's hearsay. Scott, thank you, Melanie. I've loved this channel's boom, 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 bang, 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 bang. Thank you, Scott McGinnis. You've been here from the get-go. Despite that look on my face, you're still talking, says Song for the Playlist, Karma by Lady Ray. All right, thank you. Dr. Magoo says, I still don't know why Jen and Matt say Higgins' Jeep was there. I don't either. There's been a lot of theories. Go on Reddit, you can find them. Unchecked lie. Jen will likely say she was refusing to testify unless Turtleboy was in jail because witness intimidation. Carrie tried so hard to get that in on Thursday. Was it Thursday or was it? I think it was Wednesday. But yes, I know what you're saying. I think she did. She did say. She tried. Harassment. They're all going to try. Lena, love your show. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Can the defense team bring up the rock? Yeah, I think they're going to bring it up tomorrow. If it was there when the jury was there, they absolutely will. How could it not have been, though? How could someone have just planted it right before the media got there if the media was 100 feet away? They would have seen somebody put it there, right? So I don't know. I have questions. I'm sure they're going to have questions. I don't know whether they saw it or not, whether it was there when the jury was there, but I can bet there's going to be some fireworks in the morning, and she's going to say, the judge, first thing after God save the Commonwealth or God save us from the Commonwealth, they should be saying, the judge will say, I heard the counsel wants to see me. Can you come to sidebar? And that'll be how the morning starts, as it often does before the jury comes in. Right? Billy says we should all collectively fuck. No, I can't. As an attorney, I cannot in good conscience or ethically suggest that, but I will take your 5. So thank you. LJ, let's not forget Matt McCabe doing his surveillance of the crime scene. Yes, he said he was at the Asian house. They're here today. They're at the Asian house. And BB2, Mel, your thoughts on Ms. Chung? In my opinion, I can't wait because AJ isn't going to ask about a weather report. Who's Ms. Chung? Is that the neighbor from the Asian house? Who's Ms. Chung? I don't know who you're talking about, BB2. Does anybody know? Bueller, anyone? The Rock was there during the view because the media showed it. Well, the media showed it, but the media wasn't allowed on property until after the jury was cleared and back on the bus. So that's why I have questions about that. The Chungs are the neighbors. Yeah. Are they, she's on the list? Neighbor on the list. Well, that is the Asian home. Okay. Well, my thoughts are, I don't know what she's going to say. Is she going to say, I was up, I was curtain twitching, I saw Django in the house? Wouldn't that be amazing? I have no idea what she's going to testify to, but I'm here for it. I'm here for every minute of it. Kat, thank you for gifting a membership. Plant Lady became a member. Thank you, Plant Lady. Maura Valesi says, looking forward to seeing you when you drop off my kids. Thank you. That's what I tell people. You can send me emails, but I'm not going to do your chores or, I'm not going to forward anything to the defense team or to any other YouTubers or not your secretary. Pauline gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Pauline. You're the greatest. Kim says, Morrissey said 11 people said he didn't go in the house, but those 11 didn't see his body either. Great point, Kim. Great point. Say it a little bit louder for those people in the back. Erica M says, playlist nomination, Cool Kids by Screeching Weasel. It works on multiple levels. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? I think that I want to be like the cool kids, Everybody wants to fit in. That's the one that I'm thinking of. I don't know if if it's Screeching Weasel. Time to Confess, Government Mule, add to playlist. I like Government Mule. I'll allow it. I will. I'll allow it. I saw like a super generous Matt sent a super generous Venmo. I'm not going to dox you. He says, great insight. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, because without you guys, I wouldn't have a show. And you're amazing, Matt. Thank you very much. And Tom says, why would Ian be testifying before Jen? Is he not going to explain that the Google search never happened? Or do you think Jen McCabe is going to be called before him? Well, no, I think it probably has to do with scheduling. That's interesting. That's a great point, Tom. Thank you for your Venmo. I heard Whiffen is testifying tomorrow, so it must be a scheduling thing. I think he's from Canada, right? So it's going to be interesting. The jury is going to be on the edge of their seats to want to hear from Jen McCabe because they've heard so much about her so far, right? And now Ian Whiffen is going to come in and talk about this 227 Google search, not having heard from Jennifer McCabe, having heard from Kerry Roberts that she lied to the grand jury about hearing Karen tell Jen to Google it. So it's going to be interesting. Leah Lou says, in my opinion, Karen's totally innocent. However, I do wish the defendant would have been honest about ARCA. They know Bev is after them. Why give her a reason? But here's the thing. And I'm a civil litigator of over 30 years. So I deal with expert witnesses all the time. Lots and lots of expert witnesses. And accident reconstructionists, particularly. Hang on a second. Now, it is rare, if ever. This, I would say, close to never. Has it ever happened that either a plaintiff's firm, because I'm a plaintiff's lawyer, right? So I would hire experts like accident reconstructionists to prove that the accident happened the way that my client said it did. Never, ever, ever have I ever had a case where a federal investigation was going on about my case at the same time as my case, right? And I don't know any criminal lawyers who have ever had a federal investigation going on at the same time as their criminal trial or criminal case was going on. So these are muddy waters here. The feds hired ARCA to do the accident reconstruction for them. And the only thing they wanted to know was, did the injuries to John O'Keefe's body line up with a pedestrian accident? And do the damages to the car line up with a pedestrian strike? And if you haven't heard about the Crash Daddies, they're coming in tomorrow. You're going to love them. They built a cannon. And it was awesome. And so it just never happens where you have this expert witness that was hired by the federal government. And so you're not free to just go hire them because they're on retainer with the feds, right? So you can't really step on any toes. But Josh Levy, who was the acting U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts at the time, said to both Adam Lally and the defense team on a conference call before the Karen Reed's first trial, he said, in good conscience, I cannot allow this case to go to trial, and therefore, pursuant to the TUI rules, I am giving you 3,074 pages of information that we have had, that we've uncovered in our investigation. We're giving it to you here. Contained within those 3,074 pages was this report from this accident reconstruction firm who does work for the federal government. They do work for the NHL. They designed some seats on the trucks in Afghanistan. Like, these are like real biomechanical engineers who are real expensive. The report was in there, and it clearly says John O'Keefe was not hit by a car, and a car did not hit John O'Keefe because physics, science, it just didn't happen that way. So when it came time for trial, I mean, any honorable prosecutor would have just been like, okay, we're just going to like drop the charges or just, but no, they're way too deep in this. So the defense team wasn't even allowed to hire ARCA. They had to just schedule them to come and testify All they had was the report that the feds hired them for like $250,000 to do. They investigated the Challenger wags. Yeah, I mean, they're like the real deal, right? So they have the report. They know what they're going to testify to. They communicate with them for purposes of scheduling them, because remember, they're like from Pittsburgh, I think. They had to fly them in for a voir dire during the first trial, I think, to be questioned. And then they had to fly them back for testimony. And so if they were texting them to try and get them there, they weren't going to change their opinions. Their opinions were already set in stone. They're already in the report. And Adam Lally had the report. They know exactly what ARCA is going to testify to. And so they paid them after the trial was over when ARCA sent them a bill for $20-something thousand. They didn't hire them to do the reconstruction. These are muddy waters. This retention policy is BS because the ABA rules on retention policies have to do with the client and retaining things for your client. And it's not one of the things that you're required to retain. You're required to retain expert reports, but not necessarily text messages between you. So it's a big smokescreen. It is nothing. If you think that these biomechanical engineers with very high dollar contracts with the federal government, the NHL, and all of these other things I told you about are going to risk their reputations for 20 grand, 20 grand is like lunch money for them. It's like, they would never do that. They're not going to come and change their opinions. For Hank Brennan to even suggest that there's some sort of collusion going on between the defense team and these ARCA witnesses is puffery. It is bloviating at its best. It is embarrassing to any attorney who's ever dealt with witnesses. It's just it. And so I see what you're saying, but I also can see where after the trial, they get this bill and then they ask the feds, they sent the feds an email or called them or something and said, should we pay this? Can we pay this? Are you still under retainer with them? And they said, yeah, you could pay it. And then it wasn't until March of 2025 that they were finally able to actually hire ARCA to come in for this trial. So it's just something that never, ever happens. And it's a big nothing. It is a big, I hate nothing burger. I hate that term. So I don't want to use it. I can't even think of like what is worse than that. Is like a smokescreen of nothingness. And to insinuate anything else is just, yeah, the grave concerns. It's a ruse, like Kindred Spirit just said. I saw that fly by. It says, I think it's a ruse for a bigger issue here. A deeper issue. I think she was gravely concerned about something else. Yeah. Same. To making accounts says after the morning sidebar, Beverage will tell the jury, sorry, we kept you waiting, finishing up a few things to make our courtroom run more efficiently. Yes, exactly. Joni became a new member. Welcome, Joni. LJ, would you please give us our schedule with you this week? What time are we with you tomorrow? Tomorrow we will be going on about 8:50 a.m. Court maybe we'll start at 9. Maybe it's oftentimes a little bit late. And then we will get through Ian Whiffen. He'll probably take the whole morning because if Bobby Alessi is crossing him, you can bet there will be a slice and dice happening tomorrow and it'll be glorious. And then we will be here all day until the afternoon when ARCA comes in to do their voir dire. And if they finish with Whiffen, Brennan better have another witness ready is all I could say. Apparently on Friday, was it Friday? Sarah Levinson was seen in the courtroom. In the courthouse. So maybe she's going to be on deck. Maybe Julie Nagel. I don't know. And we'll be here all week. I'll be here all week. And if we're not covering Karen Reed, we'll be covering Aidan Kearney. SJY became a new member. Welcome. I think you're going to like it here. Lilu says a lot more involved in it then. Can she totally exclude ARCA? If so, do you think she might? It would be like a fool's errand for me and try and second guess this judge. Many attorneys say, no way she could ever exclude them. It's reversible error. Could she limit their testimony? She could. Ask 5 attorneys, you're going to get 5 different opinions. In my opinion, has she been looking for a reason to hamstring the defense? And why are they so afraid of ARCA? Isn't a prosecutor supposed to be in search of the truth? In search of the truth? If you are in search of the truth, let it all in. What are you afraid of? Whining to mommy Lady McBev, that your expert is not going to be able to change his opinion based on what ARCA said. What are you afraid of? John O'Keefe still didn't get hit by a car. It doesn't matter what your experts say. It still didn't happen. I don't think she will, but she's done a lot of things that I didn't think she would do. So, she could limit their testimony to what was in their original report. She could do lots of things. She could sanction the defense firm, like make them pay a fine. There's a lot of possibilities, and it's a fool's errand to try and guess anything this judge is going to do. Amora Valesi Levy gave the prosecution the same info and nothing was hidden. That's right. They've got it all. All the materials that ARCA reviewed to do their reconstruction are listed in their report. And the defense firm doesn't have all of the stuff that the feds may have given ARCA. So it's like chasing your tail around. Sweet Lorraine, Carrie believes Jen McCabe she just met and turns her back on Karen after chatting with Jen. Well, they had met once before when they went to get those Reebok sneakers, remember? But yes, I see what you're saying. Don't you even give your friend a chance to explain herself? No. And remember what the jury's heard so far. From Daniel Whitley, who's friends with Carrie Roberts, lives in the same neighborhood. He said he was trying to make Karen feel better by telling her stories about people who had survived from falling in things like frozen lakes, from hypothermia. He was trying to make her feel better. And he said, well, you have a good support system. So you'll be good. You have a good support system. And Karen looked at him and said, and this is what he testified to, said, do you know Carrie Roberts? And he said, well, yes, I do. And she said, well, then you would know that I don't have a good support system. And you could see, based on the testimony of Mrs. O'Keefe, that she did not like Karen. That was pretty obvious too. It was palpable. Didn't like Karen at all. She has a good support system in her family, Karen does. And her friends who had nothing to do with these people, because she was an outsider, remember? Erica Emmett's a different song, Screeching Weasel. Their logo looks like Hank. Oh, it's a fun, dancey punk song. It's called It's a Real Cool Club, and you're not part of it. Awesome. I'll look at it later. Thank you. And Mo, thanks for your super sticker. And JC, thanks for your 20. Didn't Bev already rule that ARCA can only testify to what they said last trial? I don't believe so. If so, how is that fair when the Commonwealth now, because what happened was, JC, once the defense was allowed to hire ARCA, they want ARCA to look at the report of Judd Welcher, who is the accident reconstructionist for the Commonwealth, and to refute what Welcher says. So they will be doing some more stuff, because that is why they call it a battle of the experts, because the experts battle. My expert will come in and tell the jury why your expert is wrong, and your expert will come in and tell the jury why my expert is wrong. So that's what the defense has said they want ARCA to also be able to testify to. So you're right. Yes, they do have that right. And that is what maybe some of this argument will be about tomorrow. LJ, I obviously do not like Lady Macbeth. And now after seeing her on the View video, I cannot unsee her at only 4 feet. Is she only 4 feet 5? I don't know. All I know is that Nurse Kim, my lovey, my friend, calls her Polly Pocket. And so it's kind of cute. The song Cool Kids is by Echo Smith. Thank you. Common sense should prevail. And yes, common sense should prevail. And that is what we will put that on there, by Echo Smith. Thank you. Perjury Puss Roberts, paralegal. My Carrie inspired name, Perjury Puss Roberts. Well done. Nancy of Narnia became a new member. Welcome. And Jennifer C. Oh, I hope it's not the Jennifer C. Question. Carrie said she had not been to John's house, but then stated that John was a neat freak and you had to take your shoes off before going in. Oh, no, she'd been to John's house, I believe, right? She had never been to inside Jennifer McCabe's house. Did I misunderstand that? But I thought she was in John's house a lot. I mean, she knew John from high school. Jennifer, I think. I hope that clears it up for you. I don't think she had ever been to inside Jennifer McCabe's house. But she knew because she said she dropped her daughter off there and stuff. Anybody know? The chat is Oh yeah, remember to hit subscribe. It's free. We're trying to hit 100K so I can get my silver play button because I'm shallow like that. Welcome, Nancy Narnia. I like your name. We're shallow like that, or at least I am. She went to junior prom with John. Yeah, it is effing crazy how much these people get away with. I know. It's absolute insanity. It's like being the tallest midget. All right. I think I've covered everything for tonight. We will be coming back tomorrow morning around 8:50 a.m. When I hit end on this stream, it's going to teleport you to the morning stream so that you can hit your reminder. Okay. And thank you to the moderators for keeping it classy in here tonight. It was hard. I mean, it was a big, big show. It's a really big show, really big show for a Sunday night. And Beetlejuice Breenan's getting in here from Australia. It's already tomorrow in Australia. How is it tomorrow? How's tomorrow going for you, Beetlejuice Breenan? Bev wants the messages from Arca just so she can find out what the feds know about her and Meatball. Meatball is the nickname for Morrissey, if you guys don't know. And she says they're desperate to know what the feds have on them. She thinks she's going to get that info. You might be right. I mean, that's a good theory. That is a good theory. And thank you for the matcha lattes. My buy me a coffee is buy me a matcha latte. And my new favorite, actually, Starbucks has this new matcha latte with lavender and oat milk. It's like drinking a cloud. It is like drinking a cloud. It's delicious. Cindy, thank you for buying me 5 matcha lattes. She says, thank you for always keeping us informed of the truth in spite of all the duckery. All right. Thank you to the moderators. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all of the things that YouTube likes because that's the way we roll here. Is Turtleboy live? Because if he is, I will tell you to go over there and watch it. But I don't know. I don't know if he is because let me just look because you guys said he was going on after. Is the Celtics game over? I don't know. I'm tired. I got to rest my voice for tomorrow. All right. So if he's live, go check it out because apparently he's dropping some more bombs tonight. And tomorrow is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. My sleep patterns are a mess with this. Aren't we all? I know. What time is it here? It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast, almost. And I'm going to get some sleep and rest my voice. And I suggest that you do too, because we're getting back here bright and early tomorrow. It might be a hot day. Tomorrow might be a hot day because, it could be a bad hair day. I'm already predicting. All right, everyone. I will see you in the morning. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. You can do it. I know you can. And you will thank me for it because your life will be so much better. I promise you. Viewers replay, viewers do all of the great things. Peace, my friends. Be sure and hit the button for tomorrow so you come back when you're supposed to. Good night, my friends. Peace.